When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hardworking tools at hardworking prices. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
The Rich Eisen Show.
What did the Jets get for Aaron Rodgers ending? They got a lot of excitement right off the bat. Every single time Rodgers stepped on the training camp practice field. Oh, we're finally going to get it. It's finally going to happen. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got everything else. So we just be there to say Aaron Rodgers. Only to get the axe in the chest like The Shining.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at 10 a.m. on 1580. The Fanatic.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
There's something you can do today that will impact all your tomorrows. Open an AZ 529 Education Savings Plan. Contribute just $50 a month, and you'll have nearly $20,000 by your child's high school graduation, or as a great start towards your own education savings. Your money grows tax-free and can be used for college, vocational school, or workforce training. Learn more at az529.gov. Do it today for all your tomorrows.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
Hungry for something exciting? Then come experience what's new at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 Valley locations. No one does Asian-inspired cuisine better or more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, it isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire with their daily specials. Try their new $12 bar menu items, Wagyu beef and Mongolian pork sliders, chicken or beef satay, and 3 delicious flavors of chicken karaage. 2025 is on fire at Kasai with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road and Thunderbird, and now open in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR is coming to Phoenix, and it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track, all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 7th through the 9th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. It's Wednesday. I'm all screwed up when we take a day off. It's Wednesday here on Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. He's out today. He'll be back tomorrow. But Phil, the fill-in, is filling in for Randy. And Harris, the new guy, is filling in for Phil, who, Phil is trying to train Harris, the new guy, to be the new guy. But right now, he's just a trainee. So it's training day, and I'm Denzel Washington. You get that? You get that reference? Have you seen that movie? Of course not, because you're a goddamn amoeba. 888-368-1580. That is the text line, and we are broadcasting live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet Harris Hicks. Harris Hicks, he has won the job, at least the chance of the job. He's training, and I told him yesterday, and this is true. I said I could fire you in a heartbeat. Just in a brief moment. Even in a fit of passion, I just boom, gone. It could just happen at any moment.
It's happened before, and gosh darn it, it might happen again.
Yeah, and it sometimes for no reason at all.
Yeah,
you have found yourself in a hostile working environment. I don't know if you know that.
Well, thank you for the introduction. Yes, that is me, Harris, the guy that could get fired at any moment.
That might be his actual. It'll be under your name on the website.
Oh,
Harris, the guy who could get fired at any moment.
Any moment. Well, thank y'all so much for having me. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to this.
So, Harris, one thing I'm going to tell you: don't keep hitting that button like it's a walkie-talkie. Once we're on air, you probably should leave that on, because you're going to be called upon to speak, and you're going to want to jump in at any moment. We're interrupters here. So your best thing to do is, when we're all talking, is leave that microphone on, so you're not like breaker 19. It's a microphone. You're not like price check on aisle 9. That's not what that microphone is for. So you're part of the show now, Harris.
Yes, that's right. Hey, it's on. It'll be on.
What do you mean it's on? Are you trying to fight me? Are you stepping up to me right now?
No.
Did you hear that, Phil? He said it's on, like Donkey Kong.
He did. Well, I don't know if he said like Donkey Kong again. I don't know if he even knows who Donkey Kong.
I heard that. Yeah,
more alluding to the mic being on than Donkey Kong. I'm more of a fight with my words type of guy than I am a fight with violence.
Donkey Kong? Who's Donkey Kong?
The gorilla and Mario.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, come on. Don't give me a low ball.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it bothers you, we won't call you kid or squirt or, all the things that
I've gotten that. I've gotten champ too. I've gotten that. Yeah.
Champ has really aged. Like
it has.
Yeah.
It has. Yeah.
I'm just going to call you Harris.
It's like the sweetheart for women, it's a bit old. The trope of champ.
Yeah.
Champ is the sweetheart for men.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't. It seems douchey when people call people stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or buddy can get to me. I I don't know about buddy.
Really?
That was a hard one. Oh yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
It does depend on that one. That one for me, it depends if it's because I'll use it in life. I've done it certainly at like, oh, thanks, buddy, for like the person giving me directions at Target. You know, that's where I use it.
Buddy is my dog's name, so it's like it's an affectionate term.
I have a dog named Buddy too. How about that?
Maybe. Do you not like that dog?
Bebo. You got a dog named Bebo?
I do not. No,
just you got a dog and named him Bebo. At this point, then it gets weird.
Yeah. I got 4 dogs though. I got Cooper.
4? You have them with you 4, or
I don't
back
have
in
them
Tennessee?
with me. No, they're back in Tennessee.
Well,
they're back
care.
at the farm.
That's the family's dog. That ain't your dog.
Yeah. Well, hey, I found one of them. I rescued one of them.
Well, in Tennessee, yeah, you certainly did. Out there, anything can kill you in the woods.
That's right.
Did you rescue the dog, or did the dog rescue you?
You know, it was a 50-50 effort, Jeffrey. 50-50.
Oh, shut your face. All right. Moist One says, woohoo, let's go hairless. No. It's not. It's Harris.
I have gotten that, though.
Have you before? It's not even original, Moist One.
Yeah, not even original.
Plus, with the mop on top of your head, it's not really appropriate.
Yeah. We got
he's
the
a
curls.
hairy little bugger. He's look at all them curls.
Hey, girls dig the curls.
Girls
dig
the curls.
Natural curls, or you spend some time in the chair for that?
Oh man, they're natural. I don't got that type of time. They're natural.
Walter Mellon says, is this guy trying out, or is he the new guy? Well, it's his job to lose at this point. And how's that for a sports reference? It's his job to lose. He's like kind of like in the quarterback room. It's training camp, and we're seeing how he does. And if he throws a nice spiral, if he's able to manage the game, then he will be the guy. Walter Mellon. And by the way, for those of you who also liked Ben the zookeeper's house husband, he, he's still around. We're still talking about some other things. So, don't feel sorry for him. In fact, really, after the abuse you see Harris get, who do you really feel sorry for? See what I'm saying? Donnie says, new guy, name all your favorite teams from the major 4 sports leagues. First off, you don't ever have to do what Donnie says.
Yeah, Donnie's very demanding, but you never have to do a thing.
Well, hey, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead for him. I'm a University of Tennessee fan. So
That's
Tennessee
not
football,
a major sports team. We're talking the
basketball.
4 professional
Oh,
sports
4
teams.
professional. Okay. Titans, Tennessee Titans.
Sorry.
Nashville Predators.
Sorry, every time he says he's a Titans fan, I get started laughing.
Yeah, I know.
I can't stop myself.
It's a rough start. I
You're-
know it
You're
is.
the one. I keep forgetting that you're the one. I'm like, yeah, I know somebody who's a Tennessee Titan. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
You're looking
That's
at
right.
like 25% of the fan base right
Yeah,
here.
right
It's
there.
like right in this board right here. Titans, Predators, Nashville Predators, the hockey team, Memphis Grizzlies, the basketball team. And I don't have a baseball team. I've kind of started rooting for the Diamondbacks since I've been in Arizona, but I'm a free agent when it comes to that. So
No, you're not. You're now a Diamondbacks fan, and don't let Ralph from Harmon Solar tell you otherwise, because he's going to try to hey, I want you to be an LA fan because they win everything.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know about
do
that. I'm not that type of guy.
You will not win any friends.
We
around
knew
here.
that from the Tennessee Titans fandom. You aren't that type of
I'm
guy.
loyal.
I
I'm
have
loyal.
respect for you that you admit that out loud. You're a Titans fan, but also that you're sticking to your teams. You're sticking with your team. But if you don't have a baseball team, I'll tell you what. It's almost criminal that you get to say, "Hey, I'm a Diamondbacks fan," because it's like bandwagoning. But they went to the World Series when nobody expected they would. The team last year kind of stalled out towards the end of the season. They got cold at the worst possible moment, so they missed the playoffs. But right now, the way they're looked, and it's not just us. Everybody who knows baseball knows the Diamondbacks are a team to be contended with. This is a good team. Now, it's not the same team the Dodgers bought and paid for, but as far as just teams go, this is a great team. This team should be in the playoffs this year, and they're looking pretty good. So that's what we're hoping for, and that's the other thing, Harris. We try not to be jerks about the teams that we have here. We try to be cautiously optimistic and also very realistic. You'll never meet a more self-hating Colts fan, but it makes me feel better now that somebody on the show has a worse team than mine.
Hey, we have a good record here at the station for people coming in with fandom towards lower hanging fruited teams. I mean, Keon came in and he's a Washington football fan. And I mean, look at this past
Your
year.
predecessor.
He left on a very good note.
The waiting paid off.
Yeah, when I came in as a Denver Bronco fan. It took a little while, but now we got Bo Nix. So I mean, you might be on the uptick here. You might be on the uptick.
You also got a Super Bowl. Also got a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning.
Well, that was well before.
Yes, I was going to say
your team has gone the wrong direction since. You know that until just recently.
Yeah, so I came in during the downswing of the Broncos post Peyton Manning, but I was still in the high of the Super Bowl.
Did you witness Tebow Mania?
I did. Tebow Mania was a part of my conversion to Bronco religion. Yes.
Oh man, yeah.
I have a question. Jeffrey O'Brien, 15-8.
Yes, Jeffrey, go ahead.
Why can't I see Harris's face? He's all in the dark there.
Well, I mean, until we
we're gonna have to get lighting on.
We do need to get lighting. That is
I
part
can't
of the
believe
budget.
he's the first guy. I feel like I need to get lighting for it.
Especially considering, yes,
Right,
yes.
I think it's the hair.
Yes, I think it does perch.
All right, listen. During the shows the next couple of days, understand I'll be giving him advice and cues. So will Phil. Sometimes Phil will look terrified, run out of the room, and go in there and help Harris as he's learning how to do this stuff.
I'm learning.
So right now, I'm going to teach you a little thing. So the first thing I taught you when you walked in the door was 2 fingers close to the microphone, talk directly in it. Right?
Right.
But you can take that mic and kind of tilt it off just a little bit as long as you're talking directly into it. And I bet if you do, we might see your face. I'm just saying, just an idea, experiment with it. Have fun. Go crazy. See what I'm saying? I don't know. See, now we can see his face a little bit better. Although the first rule always applies. This is a radio show. It's not a TV show. Except for the people who do watch this at their house on their 100-inch TVs and their 85-inch TVs.
And they do exist.
Yeah. You know what I found out? I didn't know this, and maybe Harris, now we got some new blood around here. Maybe Harris can help fix this. On the YouTube feed, when the music plays, it's all, and then when we start talking, it's a little bit, and then it starts to come through. Can you fix that?
Interesting. I can see, yes.
No, you probably can't fix that there. Well, if you can fix that there at the iPad, I feel like I'm going to go back and fire everyone who ever worked here again. Because I feel like that's the only down thing to our YouTube thing is sometimes the audio gets a little like that.
Interesting. Well, I'll be sure to keep a note of that.
T-Licious says, sounds like he's fresh out of the sack. What do you mean, like the for the kangaroo, like the pouch?
Yeah, maybe his middle name's Joey. I don't know.
Beer Bob says, as you could see by Jeffrey's actions, welcome to the madhouse, Jeffrey. Harris. I'm sorry, Harris. He meant Harris. He said Harris.
Yes.
I'm just thinking about myself. I mean, look at me. Why wouldn't I? Swazman says, hey, Jeffrey. Hiatus. Beat the book with Dylan Cohen, taking a little break. Expected to come back soon. Hamilton Porter says, so apparently there was another plane crash today.
Oh my gosh.
This time in Tucson.
Wow.
I have so many questions. Like, why was anyone flying to Tucson?
That is number one of saying that this could have been prevented had you chosen a better destination to begin with.
Hey, U of A games are pretty fun. Those basketball games, they pop out for it. They do.
Hey, Harris, shut up.
Have you ever been to one?
Anti-U Arizona here. You are an ASU graduate. How do you not know this already?
I am an ASU grad, but hey, man, I got to be honest. I got to give respect to where respect is given. And they have a great college basketball atmosphere.
That's about the only thing that they have that you can put under the category of great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Better atmosphere, GCU. Better atmosphere, ASU. The curtain of distraction. So the hell with
very
you,
distracting.
Arizona. I don't need your honesty right now. I need your loyalty. When it comes to anything ASU versus Arizona, I blind loyalty.
Man, honesty is honesty, though. Honesty is.
Well,
honesty.
I appreciate a good, honest person. I do, but maybe just keep your dumb mouth shut. Then. Moist One says, "Do you have wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee? Welcome to the Pink Pony Club," he says.
Does that song haunt you at all, Harris, or has it gone away from you? Because I feel like the entire Tennessee community was.
He may not know what you're talking about.
Do you know? You don't know the Pink Pony Club?
Pink Pony Club. I do not.
Oh,
all right. That's
Harris.
it. Friday. We're all going.
We're all going to the Pink Pony Club. Harris, you're the first person in.
I am not going. Boomer Sooner says, "Welcome to the show, Harris. Your homework for the night is to memorize all the Hall of Famers there are." See, he can't see the text line, Boomer
For
Sooner.
what sport?
For the Hall of Fame of the texters. Boomer Sooner is a Hall of Fame texter. So here's the thing. I don't know if this was ever explained to you, but on this radio show, we don't take phone calls. It's always texts. And I'm going to demonstrate why. And for everybody listening who has always wondered, you're going to know I'm right. So here's what happens on most radio shows. Okay. They're like, all right, let's go to the phones. Here's Bob from Tempe. Hi, this is Bob from Tempe. I love your show. First time caller, long time listener. I think the Cardinals. Oh God, shoot me in the head. You know what I'm saying? So on the text line, their thoughts are automatically put on the screen, and then often I'm reading them as we go as a stream of consciousness. So the entire audience has become like the fourth co-host of the show. That's where the nickname, the fourth dimension, came from. So rather than waste a bunch of time trying to get somebody on the phone, or you pick it up, you pick it up and they're just like, oh, get off the couch. Bob, are you there? God, tell you goddamn kids one more time. And then, you've heard it on other shows, even national shows. So here, the text line also gives people the anonymity, because everybody gets a fun nickname if they want.
Right.
So if they're at work and they're texting the show, their boss doesn't find out, oh, this guy is slacking over here. So all of the reasons of that, this is probably the most interactive show in sports talk radio.
And you never know what they're going to call about. You never quite know. And so it's nice to see a text beforehand to say, all right, this is what we're getting into here. This is what we're going to talk about.
Blocked Moist One.
Oh my gosh.
Even the name itself is telling.
He would have been a banned caller for sure.
Caller ID would be our only hope, and he'd probably get some burner phones. And how many times you're going to hear this show where I go, And Moist One says, oh, I can't read that because he's filthy. He'll come out and then he'll like every 10th text, he'll say something amazingly insightful and sports oriented. And you're like,
And that's why we keep
waiting
them
for
around.
the next text, like, and
The over under for Moist One inappropriate tweets or texts that we can't read on air is about 2.5 per show. 2.5.
Mhm,
That, you know, there's either 2 to 3 somewhere around there. Oh, can't read that.
Latina Leprechaun says, I like the zookeeper's husband. He was a golf pro, but I like Harris too since he went to ASU. Please tell me he's not a Dodgers fan.
I'm not a Dodgers fan.
Baseball free agent right now.
I'm a baseball free agent though.
Well, if I buy you what do you want? Like a Dodgers t-shirt or something?
I still wouldn't take it.
You want a Diamondbacks t-shirt?
I do
How
have
about
some
that?
Diamondbacks gear. I
See,
do have
he's
some
a-
Diamondbacks gear.
Well, what the hell's wrong with you? You're a Diamondbacks fan then.
I
Why
guess
would you
could
have
say.
the gear and not be a fan?
I don't know. It just you know, I'm sort of easing into it. I like to take things slow.
Harrison was trying to pick up chicks and he wanted to fit in. By the way, do you have a girlfriend?
I do not at the moment.
He's a free agent in multiple areas, Jeffrey.
So what you got to do is repeat after me, Harris. Ladies, the line starts here.
All right, the line starts here.
No, that's not going to get you anywhere, kid. Let's see. Walter Mellon says, well, Harrison. No, it's not Harrison. It's Harris. And if I accidentally say that, I apologize. He says, it was nice to hear you on the show today. After that exchange, I'm not sure you'll be back. Jeffrey hates you, Arizona. Yeah, we do. The show does. The show does. Where'd Phil go?
Phil is walking back and he's back.
Well, I can see that.
There were some noisy people in the studio today, so I had to close the door, Jeffrey.
Oh. Soccer Mom Assassin says, pretty sure I got a son who's the same age as Harris. What is he, 14? Child labor laws are really relaxed these days.
I haven't heard that one before.
Fish Tank says, welcome to the show, Harris. Oh, yeah, Fish Tank. You got to know about Fish Tank. You got to know about Fish Tank. Fish Tank does the songs. I don't know if it's on the button bar there, on your screen. But if you see Burn in Hell Lake, not that one, the other one. If you see Burn in Hell Lakers on the secondary screen where the button bar is, remember we showed you how to play that. If you can find that and play it, it's like bonus points for you right now. If you see anything that says Burn in Hell Lakers or
It is not
Dodgers.
on here at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I honestly don't know what's on that thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
Some previous guys who used to work there accidentally deleted all of it and put their own stuff.
Oh my
on
gosh,
there.
yeah.
Remember that?
That was a very historic day and rude day to walk into.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I can't do parts of the show because it doesn't exist. Excuse me. And that was a very fun pre-show, let me tell you.
Huh. How about that? And I didn't fire anybody then.
But he wanted to.
Yeah, but I'll go back in time and fire everybody. Latina Leprechaun says, oh no, Harris praising U of A. That is unacceptable on this show. Is he sure he went to ASU?
I don't think he praised. He seemed
No, he was praising.
He was praising.
No, he was
See,
praising.
he reminds me as the person who refuses to be embarrassed on the court because in case you lose, you don't want to have it put upon you that you boasted or something. So he tries to respect the opponent. That's what
Humble
I'm
brag.
getting. So yeah, see, he's trying to be humbling and bragging all at the same measure.
Yep.
We just don't say
Tactical
nice things
point.
about UA.
Yeah, no,
In fact, I call them U Arizona because they hate that. They changed it and then they changed it back, and then all the Tucsonites who they hate that, so I always call them that. Mr. Wilbur says, what? Harry's son is a Wildcats fan? I love him. Yeah, Mr. Wilbur is a Hall of Fame texter, but also a Wildcat fan. It's not Harry's son, and it's not even Harrison. It's just Harris. Well, but of course, you went to U Arizona, so we'll talk slowly for you, Wilbur. Also, Wilbur is legally blind.
Wow.
So keep in mind, there will be jokes.
All right.
Scratch Me Because says, try this, Harris. Ladies, the wine starts here. All right. More effective than the line starts here. That is not true.
What's
Scratch
that
Me
username
Because.
again?
Scratch Me Because. The historian says, just say, here I am. What are your other 2 wishes? Ha! You're going to get some of the worst pickup line advice. ever.
Man, yep.
Yeah, these might be better titled things to not say, Harris.
Can I give you one? I know a pickup line.
Oh,
all right.
Comes to mind. My name's Harris. You can call me anytime.
Yeah, you're right. You
I
shouldn't
don't
use
get
that
it.
one.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Really?
Also,
Because you can call my name
No. See, in this
I still
in this
don't get it.
current where we are with texting and tweeting and everything else, I found calling is just the worst way to go about it. Whenever you're like,
That
hey,
makes me angry when somebody calls me. almost.
it's like the previous generation was like slowly forced out of, hey, what's your email? I'd love to exchange emails. It's like, no, but you're the weird guy if you ask for an email now.
Yeah.
And we're slowly getting to that with calling. Now it's like you got to exchange socials, Jeffrey. It's a good thing you're out of the dating pool because I know you say that you don't do anything on your socials.
I'm bad at social media. I'm only on the social medias I'm on for this radio show. Outside of that, it wouldn't even occur to me. Megatron says Jeffrey must be an aspiring Catholic priest with all these young boys co-hosts. If that were true, I'd be in studio right now. So, Mr. Wilbur says Harris, was your dad Franco?
Oh,
did you ever get that
was
one?
not Franco, and I have not been asked that question. Actually, I have not.
Harris is his first name. You're going to use your regular name as your radio name?
Yeah.
Well, that's a brave choice.
Usually
Harris Hicks is his name.
Yes.
So everybody get used to that name. Just get not even. I'm not saying it like he's a badass. He's like, everybody get used to this name. I'm just saying get used to it, and I know you'll find ways of making fun of him.
I appreciate the compliment, though.
Yeah. All right. So listen, we have to take a break. Harris, are you ready for a break?
I'm ready.
Okay. When we come back, we got lots of sports stuff to talk about. We'll get to know Harris more as the time goes by. You know how that works. And of course, other assorted things. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com, BABBEL.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harman Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmansolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmansolar.com.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher, back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. As most of you might know, I'm a big fan of loyalty and longevity. I love companies based right here in Arizona that have been around doing some great things for a long, long time. And oh boy, has the Lund Mortgage Team done just that. In the mortgage game, they're one of the best. In fact, I think they are the best. And I've been telling people about the Lund Mortgage Team for decades now, and I'll continue to do that as long as they continue to take care of all our listeners, and they do that every single day. So you could be next. Call today, 623-875-9940. Look, the Lund Mortgage Team, they're mortgage brokers. That gives them the unique opportunity to shop your rate around. They've also been in business so long, they realize Fees are not the most important thing. They keep those nice and low. Call today, 623-875-9940, whether it's a HELOC, whether it's a new home loan, refinance, you name it, they've got you covered. LundMortgage.com or call 623-875-9940.
The Rich Eisen Show.
Tinfoil hat wearing people who suffered from cheese fatigue, they needed to consult their doctor to see if Super Bowl 59 was going to be right for them. But the cure for cheese fatigue are the Philadelphia Eagles 2024 version. Because what they did after all of that to start the game was destroy the two-time defending world champs.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 1580. The Fanatic.
It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Wilbur wants to know, Harris Hicks, any relation to Dan Hicks, the golf guy? Also, Dan Hicks is a former Wildcat. Wilbur, stop trying to make him something he's not, okay? He's an ASU guy, and you're going to have to deal with that. Boomer Sooner says, Harris, what do you think so far?
Enjoying it. Easing
No
in.
U of A, he says.
Easing in, enjoying it.
Big George says, hello, gentlemen. Who is this new guy? Harris? Nice to meet you. Fellow ASU alumni here. Are you on the X, formerly known as Twitter? If so, I might be able to hook you up with some girls on there. Worked for Keon. What do you mean it worked for Keon?
Didn't he have the same girlfriend the entire time?
No, he had a girlfriend, then he had another girlfriend.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I am, George, don't leave this guy alone. He can get his own girls. You don't need to. So let me explain Big George, since you're new to the show. Big George is 7 feet tall, and he's a lawyer. And
thus the Big in Big George.
Also, he's trouble online. Not like direct trouble online, but like when O.J. Simpson moved to Scottsdale, he tagged me in a post saying, hey, you about it? And I'm like, you're going to get us all murdered. So I had to block O.J. Simpson immediately because of Big George. And then when I got my special toilet paper roll thing, George was like telling the company, you should give this guy a bunch of free toilet paper. It's like, George doesn't, he doesn't boundaries. He doesn't really respect personal boundaries. So just keep that in mind if you become friends with Big George. But yeah, other than that, he's a nice enough guy. Also, he gives us our on this date in Big George's sports history. And he thinks everybody should be fired immediately.
And most of the time, I would say he's right.
No, he's not.
Most of the time.
Always way too quick. Oh, this is the best team ever. One bad game. Fire him, fire the GM, fire everybody. You know, that come on.
I'd like to see Big George's win-loss record on coaches that should be fired versus
Big
ones
George
that shouldn't have.
Is eventually right, but every coach or GM eventually needs to be fired, not like day 3.
I think it depends. It depends. If you're looking at like Andy Reid leaving Philadelphia, shouldn't have really been fired considering his success afterwards. Maybe that's just a different location. If you're looking at Nick Sirianni, should be fired. Even if he wins the Super Bowl, still should be fired.
Yeah, well, you just because you
really?
hate Nick Sirianni.
Really?
Yes.
You think Sirianni should be fired?
Oh my gosh.
Just out of pure hatred, that's all.
Oh gosh.
He has the 4th highest win percentage of an NFL coach in history.
Well, if you want to have this conversation, first of all, I, and Jeffrey could all muster our way into a 3rd highest win percentage in all of NFL history with that talent. Because Howie Roseman, Howie Roseman is a fantastic Hall of Fame first ballot lock of a Hall of Fame general manager. How many of those do you find around?
Hey, that's true.
That's true. Absolutely. Thank you for the respect. Second of all, general
validation is nice.
I know.
You be nice.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. General manager definitely helps. Whenever you get Saquon Barkley, who leads the team in here, and then plus you do it with 2 separate head coaches, that really does mitigate the fact that seeing how Doug Peterson flailed over in Jacksonville, having all the pieces necessary, really makes me really devalue what the head coach over in Philadelphia does as an entirety. So Nick Sirianni, the only times I see him make an impact to the game, to his team, and to his players is in a negative way. And if you're being honest with you, you're always thinking that you're working from a coaching deficit whenever you have another coach across the way.
Well, I would say to that, yes, that's true. 50% of being a good coach is also hiring a really good staff. He went out and he got Vic Fangio, and the defense
No, he
really
didn't.
improved.
Howie Roseman would not allow him.
Sirianni had a factor in that for sure.
No, he did
For
not.
sure.
There are stories out there that have.
Right. Baker's Cocky Hens has a good point. Howie Roseman hired Sirianni. Phil.
Well, he did hire Sirianni. I mean, he did hire Sirianni,
He
but
did.
Sirianni has a big factor in saying who the next DC should be.
No, because they specifically said he is not allowed to pick his coordinators this year because they were this close to firing him. They picked his offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and they picked his defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, who had his masterpiece, his Mona Lisa, his defensive plan that will go down in the annals of history for that historic Super Bowl performance.
Well, hey, if they say that, I stand corrected.
Walter Mellon says, "Get him, Phil. Go full Rain Man on him."
and another thing, no.
Oh, I thought you had another thing. My only other thing is I almost want to, how you kidnap a person and then maybe you waterboard them.
Yeah.
Now I want to get Sirianni with a bag on his head in the back of the van, take him to an undisclosed location, take the bag off, and instead of waterboarding him, put cucumbers on his eyes. Dear God, those dark circles on his eyes, that is the most distracting thing ever. It is like, I don't know what you got to do there. Well, how do you fix that?
Well, him being bald certainly doesn't help. I mean, if he had like a perm or something, yeah.
He's not bald.
No, he came back in week 8 and he had a completely shaved head.
Well, it doesn't mean he's bald.
Well, no, okay, he's shaved. He's a shaved man, Jeffrey.
That's
he's not
personal. It's none of my business.
Yeah, there we go.
Dude's got a head of hair.
He's got some, but he shaved it. He went full Britney Spears middle of the year this year.
Are we talking about the same Nick Sirianni from the Philadelphia Eagles who won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he shaved his head in the middle of the year after that Cleveland Browns incident where he's yelling at his own fans saying, "F you, shush up," all that stuff.
So he thought, well, maybe they won't recognize me and I can get away with it?
I guess. I don't know what he did. He went through an entire meltdown this entire year and at the end got rewarded by it. Who knew?
Huh. Megatron says, well, Phil does love him some annals. I do. Whenever you say the annals of anything, I'm thinking the same thing.
I know. Everybody always thinks it.
Because we're in the 8th grade.
It's a tainted word.
Annals. Boomer Sooner says, Phil, take it easy on the kid.
I'm sorry. The one I cannot stand is this disingenuous argument that anybody, even you, Harris, would you take Nick Sirianni over your current head coach in Tennessee? I like your current head coach in Tennessee.
Too early to tell. It's year one.
But the fact that it's a conversation, I think, says a lot.
I still wouldn't say, because winning in the NFL is hard.
It is.
Regardless of what position you are in. And he's got a great win percentage.
He has a great resume.
We've seen a lot of teams with a lot of talented teams, a lot of coaches with a lot of talented teams not be able to figure it out. And he's figured it out. Even if, yes. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. Come on. He's figured it out. Even if his staff is great, he's got an excellent staff. He's got an excellent personnel. I'll give you that.
You probably need to turn your mic up a little.
But hey,
I'm guessing just a little. Just saying.
But hey,
not too much. Goddamn.
Somewhere in between.
All righty. Here we go.
I just said a little, a smudge, a smidge, a little bit, because I'm hearing Phil nice, but I can't hear you that well. That's all.
All right. It is up, officially up.
Fantastic.
But hey, hard to win games in the NFL. That's what I'm saying. And he's done it.
Fish Tank says, I just said the other day, D-backs could win the World Series and big Chargers say, they did it wrong. No, he'd be celebrating, and then the next time they lose a game, he's gonna say fire everybody. Scratch Me Because says, the reason my texter name is Scratch Me Because is because Jeffrey would not allow me to be my preferred texter name.
Do you remember what that was, Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, Slobodan my balls itch. See what I'm saying? I can't. And then it wasn't just me. It was also the owner of the radio station was like, oh, we can't call him that.
And also that's a mouthful to say, right before text it in. And
hey, I mastered Giannis Antetokounmpo. I can do that.
No, Antetokounmpo. Not.
Oh, are you going to get picky on that part?
Well, you said you mastered it.
For me.
Oh, okay. I see.
Mastered enough. Lost Toby says, fire Kyle Shanahan.
See, now there's a coach that nobody would dispute. Everybody outside of Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs and maybe the Chargers with Harbaugh would be all trade their head coach for Shanahan. And I'm sorry, and the Los Angeles Rams. McVay's solid.
I'm ready for a new coach.
Yeah, are you?
Who's my coach? What's his name?
See what I mean? It's Gannon, and I'm trying to remember. I do forget, but I do like
Gannon is like the better looking version of my coach.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They look the same guy, but my guy, Steichen,
that's right, Shane Steichen.
I'm not so sure he's a good coach.
Here's my first initial test on any coach, whether or not they are actually worth what you are paying them for. Is their side of the ball actually doing their job? The side of the ball that they came
good
from when
one.
they were in a system, are they? Because we look at the New York Jets. Say what you want about Robert Saleh, that defense was still performing up until he got fired, and as soon as he got fired, that defense plummeted. That defense was awful. So with Shane Steichen, I think he's doing the best he can given Anthony Richardson's liabilities and limitations currently. That because the fact that he got that close, all but into the playoffs that one year with Gardner Minshew and all that, I think it says a lot.
I always say give a coach 3 years. I think 3 years is a really good time. And hey, I always say give a quarterback 3 years. We saw the 3-year leap Josh Allen made. Actually, fun fact, Anthony Richardson is working with Josh Allen's QB coach in the offseason.
really?
Who was responsible for all of his mechanics. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
but here's the thing. Richardson doesn't have the sense God gave a goat. He is just throwing his body in front of moving trains, planes, and automobiles like he's made of rubber, but he's not made of rubber anymore. And remember, he hasn't played as much football as Josh Allen did. He hasn't played a whole lot of football in his entire life. So Richardson is way behind the curve. And I don't think you can compare Richardson and Josh Allen in any kind of real sense. He's got to get smarter about the way he does what he does, and he's got to get more patient because he would panic and then run and right in the mouth of an alligator. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. You can compare those two guys really.
Well, where I can compare them and where I think Harris is spot on is their raw physical tools are similar in that
almost exactly
the best throw in the NFL last year that nobody talks about because of how just the rest of the year early on was Anthony Richardson throwing that lob that was absolutely on a dime.
Insane.
It was
the
absolutely
craziest throw I've ever
it
seen.
leaves the camera.
Yeah.
The camera can't even track it. That
Yeah.
was absolutely a thing of beauty that
if it were an AT&T
Followed by
stadium, it would have hit the video board.
Followed by interceptions, absolutely. So that's the one place where they have. But I do agree with you, Jeffrey. He needs to stay on the field. He is no longer in college, where he is by far the biggest, strongest, fastest guy against the majority of his schedule. He is on equal footing with a lot, if not outweighed.
Josh Allen was doing the same things.
I see
at
nothing but
Wyoming.
interceptions and
Big time.
injuries right now.
Yeah,
That's all I see.
interceptions, injuries, the two eyes.
I mean, sometimes we have late bloomers. Sam Darnold, Steve Young didn't even reach his peak until he was older. Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue in sports. Just saying. He's got a lot of potential.
Oh, scratch me because it says FYI, Harris, the University of Bethlehem is an appropriate name for you, Arizona. Yeah, I coined that last year. We were saying, Randy and I were singing, "Oh, little town of Bethlehem," and we had a whole thing about Tucson. And then Fish Tank did a punk version of it, and it was pretty good too.
Was this at least during winter, or did you just come up with this on a random July?
It was around Christmas.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Beer Bob says, "I would not trade Mike Vrabel for Mike Shanahan."
Yeah, see,
I can't wait to see
for
what
Mike
Vrabel
Shanahan. Does. Mike Shanahan or Kyle? Which one are we talking about?
Shanahan or
Mike Shanahan? I wouldn't trade Mike Vrabel for.
That
either.
is a true statement. I would not trade him for Mike Shanahan.
Lost Toby says Kyle ain't doing it. Niners are on a win now, and he ain't doing anything to win now. He chokes in big games. Yeah, can't get over the hump, man.
The problem with Kyle Shanahan is that he is all in or all out. Like he either has like pretty much reaching the Super Bowl or like absolute fire and carnage all around. Like there is no middle ground with Kyle Shanahan and his resume.
Yeah.
You look at it, it's surprisingly middling as far as results in win-loss for a coach that is as esteemed and as respected across the NFL as it is. But that being said, his lows are really low.
When you run an offense too, like the West Coast offense, like he runs, it's a lot of short passes. And so it's very determined on yards after the catch.
Yes.
And so guys can take hits and cause injuries. It's never that Shanahan's team hasn't been good enough. They've been good enough when healthy. But when injured, that's when, San Francisco sort of falls apart. And that happened last year at McCaffrey and et cetera. And it happened, I think it was 3 years ago, year after they went to the Super Bowl too with Garoppolo. They sort of fell apart just because a ton of injuries.
Right.
So it's a matter of, for the Niners, having enough depth to sustain the injuries that could come. And when they've been healthy, man, I say a healthy Kyle Shanahan team can beat anybody in the NFL. They were this close to beating Kansas City. If you continue to put yourself in the right spots, I say this to Niners fans, I say this to Bills fans and to Packers fans as well. If you continue to put yourself in the right spot, there's a lot of luck involved in sports. The ball may bounce your way. And then before you know it, you may be winning a Super Bowl.
Baker's Cocky Hen says Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Famer Jerry Sandusky's available. I think if you're in need of a good defensive-minded coach. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
10 feet below the ground and probably even further.
He's dead now, right?
Oh,
dead.
yeah. He's
died in prison, right?
No. Yes.
That's good.
Good.
All right, listen, we got to take a break. When we come back, more stuff. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist, clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Sponsored by Armstrong Pharmaceuticals.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Looking to take your career to the next level? Arizona's largest law enforcement agency is hiring detention officers right now. Play a critical role in protecting public safety with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and gain experience that could lead to careers in leadership or as a recruit training officer. Discover competitive compensation and unlimited potential at jobs.mcso.org. Honor the law, serve the people. Apply today by visiting jobs.mcso.org. Sponsored by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more.
Or
stream us live anywhere
at 1580thefanatic.com.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
It's today's blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. I didn't know Baker's Cocky Hens was such a big Sandusky fan. He says
no.
Sandusky's not dead, guys. He's in prison and currently retired from football coaching. Well, I mean, I think once you're in prison, you're retired from everything. And by the way, he's 81. How is he still alive? And so many other people aren't. Seems kind of wrong. Lost Toby says a healthy team is a joke. He runs people to the ground where people won't be healthy. You really going to blame Kyle Shanahan for that elbow injury that Brock Purdy took a couple of years ago, or whatever injuries he has now? I don't think that's fair.
Can't blame him for
Yeah, I think Harris's point is very astute and on point.
Who's Harris? Oh, sorry, that's him. Sorry.
Hey, guys.
Sorry. The new guy.
Yeah,
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate
I think he's very well informed on the general players that aren't, but so like for the skill players, right? Like Debo especially always gets injured, but he really is the glue guy that really makes the whole system go, which will be interesting to see how this offseason goes. Where I think it kind of loses a little bit of saliency is with the quarterbacks, because yes, when Jimmy Garoppolo was there and he got hurt, I agree that the whole system kind of falls apart whenever he was leading the charge there. But Jimmy Garoppolo isn't at any greater risk for injury because he's in Kyle Shanahan's system than any other. But the point is still workable for the skill positions, especially.
Yeah, and again, like I said, a West Coast offense, I don't want to like put an NFL offense in one box, but for the most part, the average yards of depth per throw that Niners quarterbacks have are short. And so I'm talking
Certainly.
about the skill guys because when they catch the ball and it's a slant down the middle with a linebacker, and you're reliant on what you do after the catch, you're going to take some hits. And it's not just Debo, man. Kittle has gotten a lot of injuries.
Chris
McCaffrey, they
yeah.
use him as a receiver often too. So,
Yeah.
so man, when you lose guys like that and you're determined on those guys to feast after the catch, it really hurts you. It can really hurt you. And so my message to Niners fans is just stay patient.
Lost Toby says, you picked one freak injury, Jeffrey. Jimmy G and Trey Lance both got hurt on designed runs. Yeah, you know what? If you're a Niners fan, you're welcome.
You're welcome probably for the Trey Lance one. That still goes down as one of the amongst the worst general managing moves that the Dallas Cowboys made. To give up anything for Trey Lance was just an astounding loss. My guy, because there are a few coaches out there. If Sean McVay gives up on a quarterback, a la Matt Stafford this year, that sets out like red alarm bells for me. If Kyle Shanahan gives up on a quarterback, especially one that they traded up a lot of assets to get, and Trey Lance, that sets off alarm bells for me. Again, we go to Mike Vrabel. If Mike Vrabel, for whatever reason, were to give up on a defensive end or somebody on the defense, that would set off alarm bells for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, why is he not good enough for you, right?
Yes.
Fun fact about Trey Lance: 1 year in college, he threw 28 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Yeah, but wasn't that in like Division
FCS.
3?
It was North
Yeah.
Dakota State. And if you run if you watch a lot of their film, it's a lot of like
Talent
one read,
mismatches,
one
right.
read, take off if it's not open. And
Doesn't always translate, though. There's been
Right.
some guys who've
Right.
been amazing in college football, and they get to the NFL, and the game is too fast, or they just stink it up, and that's the way it goes.
Right.
Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel. There's plenty of, Mitch Trubisky, I think. There's plenty of guys that we could list that my little list was horrible, but more names are out there of guys who were amazing
Wasn't
in
bad.
college and then walked in the NFL and were quickly out of the NFL. I'm sure we could all just start shouting out names.
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, I was going to say Josh Rosen, but he wasn't all that great in college. was he?
Jamarcus Russell. Rosen was really good.
Was he
Jamarcus
really, really good, or just kind of good?
What'd you say, Jamarcus Russell?
Rosen, was he really, really good, or just kind of good?
He
in
was really
college?
good. His
No.
defense was pretty down.
But he
I
didn't
could tell he was going to
pretty
stink
good.
when he showed up.
Yeah, but he didn't really win anything. That's kind of
Right.
So
Mahomes
he-
didn't win anything either, though, but put up great stats because the defense
great
was
personal
quite
stats.
down.
I don't
Yeah.
think Rosen really did much. The one that I thought of was Mac Jones, of course, won the
Yeah.
Heisman. I think he did win a championship, right? Was that?
Yep,
Was he
2020.
the 2020, the COVID year? Yeah.
Championship.
So there's Mac Jones. Certainly is out in
What I think could be one of the greatest college football teams ever. That 2020 Bama team.
Yeah,
If you
I-
look at their point differential, it's insane. They're
Yeah, we
blowing
do.
teams out.
We do have a recent slur.
Well,
a recent.
Guys, maybe I'm too old, but Matt Leinart. This has got to be
Mm,
one
yeah.
of the
Yeah,
biggest
no, you're absolutely right. That's a big
that
one.
you've seen.
Yeah.
Achilles Smith,
Derek Carr.
way before your time. Brian Bosworth.
Oh, Bengals, yeah.
I mean, just there's tons of guys who showed up. El Stanko. So, Trey Lance, did they send him home yet? Or is he still somewhere?
No,
he's
well,
with the Cowboys, right?
He's been with the Cowboys. He was in a contract year this year. Now free agency still hit. We'll see whether or not another team wants him as a project. I don't see the Cowboys really wanting to bring him back, because when they had the opportunity to start him,
Yeah,
they declined to do that until the very last game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And if
Like,
you ask,
may as well.
yeah, and if you ask a bunch of Cowboys fans, I think erroneously, they will have that general manager Jerry Jones did that specifically not to pay the bonus of Cooper Rush. I really just
Rude.
again, yeah, I don't really attribute that. I'm somebody that your history and what your previous instances of action that really showcases to me what you do, like how I judge you. And if Jerry Jones, as he has a list of incompetence behind him, a history of it, then I'm not going to say that he purposefully did this with that intention. I think it was just like, oh, you know what? Last game, why don't we show Trey Lance? Why don't we just, why not?
I don't know. You never know.
I don't know.
Jerry Jones, he's an evil little thing. Tia says Ryan Leaf sucks.
Ryan Leaf, yes.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf.
The
yeah.
eternal debate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of these you can see is when you talk about Johnny Manziel, it can be mental too. Like maybe Ryan Leaf just wasn't in the headspace to where he could handle all that was going to come with
Well,
him,
whatever
all
the
drugs
reason,
and stuff. Johnny
whatever
Manziel
the
might have been
reason
the same
for
thing.
any quarterback, whatever the reason, it doesn't always translate.
Right.
And there's a fair amount of it that it's not headspace. There's a fair amount of it that is dear God, the NFL is for real and so fast.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Very.
Yeah, and that's probably, I think, a majority of it. They show up and they're not prepared for it, and then they get washed away. But then the great ones are able to figure it out. Boomer Sooner says, "What is Phil's sports background? Just wondering. Do I know more than him? No, Boomer Sooner, you do not.
Yeah.
Also,
I just tell you that right now.
I was going to say, how does my background? Are we going to go blow for blow, matching on the background of? Well, I was a #1 drafted lineman in the country, so I know everything about everything. No,
On this show, everybody's an expert in their own opinion, including you, Boomer, and including everybody in the fourth dimension. We don't have aged athletes. We don't have sports writers in this show because they bore the bleep out of me.
God, they do.
You guys, have more intelligent and fun takes than any of those guys do. That's why if you hear some of the other shows, it's like. And Harris has proven himself to be very knowledgeable in sports. Phil has proven to be very knowledgeable in sports.
Phil's a ball knower. He's a ball knower.
So, you don't agree with him. Okay, that doesn't mean he doesn't know what he's talking about. Just means you have a disagreement. So, me, I could go either way. Mr. Wilbur says, Harris, I may have missed it, but I'm curious as to what NFL team you follow.
Oh,
you did miss it.
You did miss it. You did miss it. I'm a fan of the team that has the first overall pick in the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans. So that means we sucked enough this year.
You sucked the worst.
We sucked enough.
And thank you for that in your division. Thank you.
Yeah.
Johnny,
you guys are doing. Oh, what'd you say?
I have a question here. So your general manager, you just brought up that they have the #1 overall pick. The general manager of the Titans said that they have an opportunity and that they can't pass up on a generational talent.
You know who that's talking about, a wide receiver.
I actually don't. That's why
I'm talking
curious.
about a wide receiver. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Harris.
Yeah. Do you
Travis Hunter?
Yeah. So
100%.
You have that as Travis Hunter because
whatever he is.
I thought it could be Abdullah. And then, of course, if you're talking about Cam Ward, I don't see that. But if you're going to take him #1, I can see why you're touting him. So I think it's very interesting that with the #1 overall pick, that they can go 3 different ways and have a viable route either way. That actually makes for a very interesting draft.
It's interesting. And because there's not this generational lock of a quarterback of the #1 overall right now.
No Trevor Lawrence, no Andrew Luck.
Right. None of that. And so the Titans, honestly, one thing they could trade.
They
That's a possibility. They could trade. I'm thinking he's talking about Travis Hunter. You have a guy who played 2 sides of the ball at a really
It's the only
elite level.
generational guy there is in the draft.
Like he is.
Again,
Like,
some will say
generational.
Amir
It ain't
Abdullah.
Shedeur Sanders. It ain't Cam Ward. They both think they are, but they're wrong.
I think the definition itself, generational, can get thrown around way too much. Like we got to understand, like Travis
I do
Hunter
what I want.
is literally the definition of generational. We haven't seen a guy play 2 sides of the ball at an elite level in generations. Charles Woodson, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
We talk about those guys. He's up there with them based on the college resume. And so that's what he's talking about, I believe.
That's the best player in the draft this year, period.
Yes, I believe
There's
so.
No argument about that.
I think there are 3 different arguments. We have the best quarterback in the draft. We have the best edge rusher, which is the best, the second best that you can get. And then we have the best overall player. And it's interesting to see which direction they go.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Do they give Levis a 3rd year? That is a big conversation in Nashville that's happened. New year, new system. It can be hard.
You know what they say about 3rd-year mayonnaise? It gets pretty stinky.
In coffee, especially.
All right, we're running out of time, but Donnie says, give us your top 5 wide receivers in the league today, new guy.
My gosh. So demanding, Donnie.
What the hell? You don't have to answer that because, Donnie, nobody answers to you, okay? He answers to me.
I can tell you the best receiver is in the NFL, I think. I think it's Tyreek Hill.
What?
I do.
That is so insulting for the recent Triple Crown winner, Jamar Chase. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Also, this was not a good year to tout Tyreek Hill. Maybe the year before.
I get it. I get that. But, man, when you have a guy who's that fast and you have corners saying, oh, man, Tyreek Hill could run deep. We got to play back. It affects everything. It affects
tough.
the run.
That's tough to crown him that, though, because, injury and also injury to his quarterback. So he ends up being just like a garaged Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really say for sure this year he was the best wide receiver.
Availability matters. The question is just, did he say this year best receivers in the NFL or just best receivers in the NFL?
Today.
Yeah.
Today.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the inference was today.
Okay. Yeah. I would
6 weeks from now.
If I'm a GM and you have an option, say, go get any receiver in free agency. Here's $30 million or $40 million or however much, I would say, yeah, I'm going to go get Tyreek Hill just because of everything he does.
I mean, you're not crazy. You're not out here touting, Marvin Harrison or somebody that we're like, maybe,
Right.
but no.
I don't know if I do not know if I agree with you on that one, Harris. But that's your opinion.
You're at least he is certainly without a doubt in the top 5 for sure.
Sure.
I like how I'm not sure I agree with you. And Phil is like, I've checked your homework, kid. You're right enough.
yeah, you're not crazy. Like you may have gotten the wrong answer, but I at least like the process.
Right.
Does it annoy you that, because remember, we're old. Older.
I was going to say, how dare you?
Does it bother you when you get called kid?
Not really.
It's like me and Randy should be able to do it, but I don't know about Phil.
The moment I do it is the moment I accept that I'm old.
Yeah. Phil ain't close enough to old.
No. Give me about 15 more years, maybe.
Yeah.
In fact, Lost Toby just says, yeah, I took a look at YouTube, and YouTube looks like Jeffrey's running a daycare. Oh, man. That just tells you how old Lost Toby is, as well as us. So, all righty. Let's see. Scratch Me Because says, did Jeffrey give you the no Nickelback lecture?
The no Nickelback lecture? I haven't gotten that.
Play Nickelback. We do not play Creed.
Come on.
And stuff. We don't play country music.
Oh, come on.
So far, those are the 3. They will get you, and I'm not kidding, they will get you fired.
That and the Pina Colada song.
That was banned by the station owner.
Yeah, I am addicted to that one, but hold on.
Yeah. But why are you fading down? You don't need to fade down. Fade back up. I can talk over it. Go ahead. You can do it. We got to take a break. We got hour 1 down, and we come back. Now you're fading up too much. Come on. Just moderation. I mean, I hate to drink with Harris. He has no moderation. We'll be back with hour 2. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
I'm awake.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Explore our products at ZQuil.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
My pain is considerable, but that prescription is dangerous.
The side effects of my medicine are worse than my condition.
I'm in recovery. I can't take those pills.
When faced with a health crisis, you shouldn't have to choose between risks.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves immediate physical symptoms without having you take a bunch of pills. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
Your car is making a strange noise. No matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. We got Phil the filling in for Randy, and then Harris, the new guy, being trained by Phil. And, of course, we got you guys on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And we didn't have too much time to get into it. We've got a lot of text sitting here on the text line. People have a lot of questions for the new guy, Harris. That is not a joke. There's a lot of jokey jokes on the show, Harris. I don't want you to be confused. Creed, Nickelback, country music, not allowed on this show.
I've made the mistake once or twice, and all $17 that were docked for my pay each time made me realize that it was not indeed a joke.
And I got tired of docking pay. Radio Ron didn't mind.
No.
But I got tired of docking pay, so now I just fire people.
Can I ask why? Why no Nickelback or Creed or country
fact
music?
you have to even ask makes me sad.
Oh, come on. I want to be taken higher.
Jeffrey, you are talking to the guy.
Come on.
You are talking to the guy from Tennessee about why he can't play country music.
Yeah, I'm talking about that too.
I like
Little
how he
Zach
went
Bryan.
right to Creed first. He didn't even talk about. You know, I don't owe you an explanation. It's my show.
Have you seen that 01 Thanksgiving Day halftime show with the Doves coming in? It was like Scott Stapp. It was the Cowboys. Come on, please tell me.
I have no memory of that at all. I probably
it
just
was
went and took a
amazing.
giant dump during it.
It was amazing.
The guy was in mental health facilities, not because of anything other than the fact he's like, oh my God, I'm the lead singer of Creed. That was it. That was the only reason. That's why he's on drugs. And I don't want the listeners of this show to be subjected to that.
Not anymore. He's had a revival story.
Especially me. I don't want me to be subjected to that. So do not argue. Just remember, no country music, no Creed, no Nickelback. And by the way, we're a Macarena-free zone.
And should you ever forget? Oh yeah, really?
It's always been that way.
Okay.
Since like 20, 30 years ago.
And remember, Harris, if ever you forget, there's an entire movie that can help you remind yourself daily that there is no country for old men.
I'll come up to you with an air tank and I'll use it. Country music. There you go. Who's next? Get Ben. Get Ben in here. Oh, by the way, I've now identified the literal end of the universe.
Oh, really?
Not just the country, not just society. I'm talking beyond the Earth. I'm talking the end of the universe.
Okay, so this is bigger than an asteroid. What is
July 18th.
Oh, wow, that's pretty soon.
The reason? In Troy, Wisconsin, that will be where the gates of hell will open, because co-headlining the Summer of '99 and Beyond Festival, Nickelback and Creed together.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'll be
also
there.
in the lineup. Live, Daughtry, Three Doors Down, Lit, Our Lady Peace, Hinder, Seven Dust, Mammoth, the whole thing. You know, some of those bands are all right, but that, man, come on. Creed and Nickelback in the same place, that is going to cause a quantum singularity and open up a world of evil hurt coming from the bowels of hell that has never been seen before.
I'll tell you right now, it is a good thing for that entire concert that Jeffrey O'Brien does not have the nuclear codes.
I'd have to
I think you
protect the
guys-
rest of us.
I think we should do the show there.
Let me tell you, Harris, that you cannot have that time off, and we are not going there.
Man,
I
think
have
we should do
blocked it out on the calendar.
think
You
we
can have
should
other
do it.
time off. You can't have that time off.
I will say for the crowd that enjoys that type of music, that's a great lineup. My goodness,
It's from
Oh,
the
yeah.
90s for sure.
We'll be
but,
taking we'll be taking higher for sure. I hope there will be
no,
doves.
You just shut your face. Quit quoting lines from the horrible music.
Oh,
Woof.
it's beautiful. Too
Quiet
beautiful. to
Cannon says,
understand.
doesn't country music go hand in hand with NASCAR? It does, but not on this show.
back in the day, you could say it did.
Radio Randy loves NASCAR, and I'm sure he doesn't mind some country music, but he respects my wishes. And I've known him for 30 years. So if he can respect my wishes for 30 years, you can for, well, however many months you work here. Moist One says, because Jeffrey got infected by the woke mind virus. The hate for Nickelback is unwarranted. There are so many worse bands.
Agreed.
Okay, first off, what does wokeness have to do with hating Nickelback and Creed? You have to remember, I am 54 years old. I was like Phil's age and even Harris's age when these bands came out, and even then I was like, ugh. So no, don't put that on me, Moist One.
You hated Nickelback before hating Nickelback was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like woof. And then I saw the video, and I'm like, no, I won't look at that ugly ass picture. Get that away from me. I'm not looking at your picture. Latina Leprechaun says there's nothing wrong with Creed. They make fine music.
That's right.
Nickelback and country music. I agree, though. Those are both not good. Well, now everybody's opinions are going to come in. But let me just tell you, I respect your opinion on who's good or who's bad. Also, don't care. Not playing it. Just not playing it. I refuse. Navy Brad says, good afternoon, everyone. Just tuned in. Question for Franco Harris. How is it playing for the Steelers?
I mean, we won a lot.
Pretty sure Franco Harris is dead.
I don't know. Actually, I'm not
Quick
fully
Google
100%
search.
sure on that.
Franco Harris dead?
Big
Question
George is
mark?
feeling sensitive. He says, hey, to be fair, right now, the only person I'm actually calling for to be fired is Bobby Hurley. He's been the head coach at ASU for over 10 years now. And what has he shown for it? 3 NCAA tournament appearances in 10 years. In those appearances, he's never gotten out of the first round. No Pac-12, no Big 12 titles. Sure, he's a great recruiter, but he's got nothing to show for it. Well, fresh out of ASU is Harris Hicks, the new guy in the show. Is George right or wrong?
Well, I got a question for George. You got to understand who you are, right? In Arizona State, before Bobby Hurley got there, was not making the NCAA tournament consistently. I think throughout the entire 2010s, they made the tournament only a couple times. I know 2014, they made it. So this isn't a program that was consistently getting out of the first round and even making it year after year. So the fact that he's made it that many times is impressive for the school standards. I will say Bobby Hurley's in kind of this awkward position, you could say, because he hasn't been bad enough to fire, but he hasn't been good enough to justify keeping. And so he's sort of in this gray area. So it's caused a lot of fans to wonder. He does have a good recruiting class coming in for the next year. I think for how I see it, because this year has been a disappointment. I mean, this team with Quintons as well, the offensive struggles I can understand, but having a guy like Jaden Quintons and struggling on the defensive end, I can't quite understand the why as to that. I really can't. And so
sounds like neither can he. Like he doesn't understand what's happening and kind of shrugs his shoulder. And it doesn't sound like the players are communicating with him on a coach-player basis, because he feels frustrated, that they feel frustrated, but they can't seem to get together and talk the same language.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there and say Hurley should be fired, because he's been better than a lot of ASU coaches have in the past. But I also understand where you're coming from if you're saying he's not good enough to justify keeping. So I'm in the gray area personally.
I think even and it was shown last night in their loss to Houston, that they just don't have an identity. Like
What? They lost to Houston?
They did lose to Houston, and it was
by a good amount.
Yes, by a good amount. By
what was the amount?
15 points. They lost 80 to 65.
It could have been worse.
It could have been. Well, here's the problem, though,
Their
Jeffrey.
losses by 10, you feel like, well, they were kind of in the game.
No.
At least they were respectful.
No, Jeffrey, the difference is because this was a defensive game because Houston is not a great offensive team, but their identity is a defensive game. So
Yeah,
it'd
for them
be,
to have
they forced
15 up is
turnovers.
like having 30 up.
exactly. It'd be
Yeah.
like in a football game, a team winning 14-3 as opposed to winning 50-30 or something.
Mhm,
So that's that's the difference there. Arizona State is just, I wouldn't even say mediocre. They're just like below bad, or sorry, below mediocre on like every account. They do not have an identity where at least you can hang their hat on that they're great at fast break, like they're really good in
Athletic team, yeah.
athletic team, or they're really offensive, or they're really defensive minded team. Nothing. There is nothing about this team that I'm like, oh well, you know, they might lose, but it's because their 3-point shooting that they're normally great at just came up short. That no, nothing. So that's my problem with Bobby Hurley is that yes, he doesn't seem to be the best communicator because all he does is all the yelling and screaming. If it's not working, and then it's not an effective form of communication. It works over there in UConn because it does. I don't, you know, they have a better access to talent, I suppose. Maybe that's why it works. But if it's not working here, then you're just yelling. And I think that turns off players when there's not results to merit the yelling and the verbal abuse almost that it comes across as.
Yeah, UConn's pretty close to New York City. So there's a lot of talent that they can get from there. But I hear you. I hear you.
Tyrannosaurus Text is a new texter on the text line, and it's a guy named Danny with a last name I'm not going to try to pronounce. I think it's Strudel. I don't know what it is. Anyways, he was saying that how about this for a bus going way back? Gino Torretta. That's good.
Sure.
Let's see. Another new texter. This is not a new texter. It's an old texter. It's ask the new guy how he feels about the Cardinals.
It's a vague question. That is a vague question. In terms of the Cardinals right now, they're doing some okay things, but there's definitely some expectations that haven't
You
quite
gotta
been
like
met.
Monty Awesomefart.
Awesomefart.
I mean, he seems like he's pretty solid, but I feel like he likes to play the game. You know, here's what I've noticed. Our teenage, well, now he's college boy here. He would play the Madden, and he loved doing the trades. Oh, I just love doing the trades. He loves playing the seasons and the stuff. Well, here's what Awesomefart. I feel like he's just loves it's a draft. We're going to get these picks and these picks. And then as far as using them, how do you feel about how he's doing?
Phil, what do you think?
Well, I don't think that the Arizona Cardinals very much right now. They always seem to take whatever's given to them, and I think that there's always going to be a ceiling on that. Right now, we've seen aggressive wins in the NFL, whether or not you are talking about Howie Roseman, whether or not you are talking about even the Chiefs, who went out on a limb and re-signed Chris Jones when there was a decision whether or not for the long-term health of their team, whether or not they would, but they went for a three-peat and just came up short. Whether or not it's the Rams are, of course, the biggest one where, you know, their mantra coming off of the championship parade was F them picks. Aggressive is now the blueprint to win. That is the one clear through line that in all these teams, the 49ers, even coming up short, traded for Christian McCaffrey, paid 2 wide receivers, aggressive wins in the NFL. And I'll be honest, I don't know, the Arizona Cardinals should be in an attractive free agent market. They should be in an attractive place that teams would demand to trade for and should have a franchise quarterback, but they never seem to, and they never seem to be aggressive. They always seem to be getting the next tier of guys, whether or not that's J.J. Watt, 2 years past his prime, whether or not that's AJ Green, whenever he came in as a wide receiver addition. There's a bunch of times where they're kind of taking whatever's given to them. I'm like, make your own path, forge your own way forward. And yes, you found a nice piece, an all right piece in James Conner. That's a great, nice little addition, but a nice little addition, you can't save your way to millions.
By the way, Harris, you're not allowed to punt. You're allowed to say, I don't know, but you're not allowed to punt. You don't.
I was curious
what
he thought.
Phil. No, we don't.
Curious.
The question was to you, my friend.
Well, yes, I was going to answer the question. I was just really curious what Phil thought, to be honest with you. I think the issue with the Cardinals is drafting. I think flat out that's the issue. And I mean, if you look,
you
at
don't like how
picks,
he's worked his picks into more and more picks. So you're saying the people he uses,
the people that he has drafted, it hasn't necessarily worked out. And
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah. Oh man, I think that is a part of a bigger problem because he's taken some time. Like I saw Marvin Harrison Jr. play in college. That guy was a freak athlete. You saw what happened to Ohio State in that national championship game when he got hurt. I was honestly kind of expecting him to be instant Pro Bowl, maybe even all pro caliber in the first couple of years. wasn't necessarily that. Isaiah Simmons was this ball hawk at Clemson that played everywhere. Talk about linebacker, safety. Man, he played everywhere. So I question, why wasn't that necessarily working out? So I think for the Cardinals, it's a part of a bigger problem, one that goes beyond the box scores, one that goes beyond Pro Football Reference or Pro Football Focus. It's something deeper that we
got to
can't
get
quite
rid of
quantify.
Kyler Murray and get a better quarterback.
The problem with Kyler Murray right now is that he offers you a 500 season.
Mhm.
Like his ceiling seems to be not much above that, but also not much below that. And then you're paying franchise money with him. I mean, do you trade him for something? I don't know what he's worth. Like Trevor Lawrence being
There
traded
was
to
a
the
rumor
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
that the Jets were interested in trying to trade for Kyler Murray.
But the problem is that again, Pittsburgh trading for Trevor Lawrence.
You let him because get out of that contract.
But you don't get out of that contract, Jeffrey. Even if you do get out of the contract of the non-guaranteed money, you are still going to take a hit on
There's
the
going to be
guaranteed
some
money.
dead cap, but I
Sure.
think it's worth it to be able to move on. And because right now it's stunted. The whole thing, no matter what you do with this team, as long as Kyler Murray is the quarterback, and I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying he's the worst ever. I'm just saying right now in this situation, the best thing you could do for the Arizona Cardinals is to move on. And I know it's impossible with a contract, but if you can, if somebody comes and says, "Hey, we'd like him," take him. Take him and move on. Okay, Monty Austin-Fart, get yourself out there. Let's get us a new quarterback. Okay, fix the problem. But we can't fix a problem. You can bring up the defense. You can bring in Marvin Harrison Jr. You can bring in, Marvin Hamlin. I don't care. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference until the person under center is your best player, is the guy who can get it done.
Well, until you have a better replacement option for one and two.
Well, right now this year, that's not happening.
That's not. I mean, Sam Darnold again. That Sam Darnold is at the top of the heap for if you need a quarterback. Does Sam Darnold really excite me? I guess the fact that he's at the top of the free agent market as far as quarterbacks are concerned is kind of an indictment on it, because again, Sam Darnold, great season. You're not 100% sure that that's not the Vikings culture and talent, along with Justin Jefferson, that have really propped him up.
I would roll the dice with Sam Darnold. I would roll the dice. Think about Sam Darnold.
I'm not a Cardinals fan, so I agree.
Yeah. Think about Darnold.
I think that they would
forget.
agree.
Yeah, it's like he's younger than Joe Burrow. Like Sam Darnold. Yeah, Sam Darnold showed up to USC.
He
Yeah,
is.
pretty crazy.
Sam Darnold is younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, it's like Lamar.
Oh, he has seen some bad miles. Like that guy is weathered and looks like at the end of that season, he went back to seeing ghosts again. He almost looked like one. So wow, that's a
revelation to you,
I
Jeffrey.
don't even know what to do with that information.
I'll say there's a lot of guys who have had really tough first playoff games and ended up being really good. Playoff football's hard. It's like being a rookie, like Lamar
Jalen Hurts,
Jackson,
except for
Peyton Manning, even.
Except for the game before was a rough game for him.
That was a rough game.
So
yeah, but you got to
it
consider
got
first
in his
16
head.
games.
That game got in his head and destroyed him for the playoffs. And now he got into a winning mode and it was like, yay! And then boom, that bump in the road, and he was just, his eyes were big. He faced defense he couldn't handle, and then he was never the same again. I know it was only 2 games, but if that happened midseason, I don't think he'd have won another game for the rest of the season.
Bill Belichick had a comment actually on Sam Darnold I want to talk about. Yeah, he was talking about him, and he said every single executive that he talked to for every team liked Darnold except for the Jets after he was let go of the Jets. Every executive wanted him.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When did
very
he say this?
interesting.
Leading into this season or
This
coming
was
out of
said.
the season?
This was said throughout this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and Shanahan, as you know, in San Francisco, and I do trust his eye for talent. He really wanted him, and he didn't want to get rid of him
His
either.
dad only had one eye for talent.
What I don't like is that the 2 most pressurized moments of Sam Darnold's career were those last 2 times, and you got an immediate mulligan. You came up short, and you would have liked it, and it felt like whoever lost that game at the end of the season last year against the Vikings and the Lions, whoever lost that was going to be at a complete deficit and disadvantage. And what I don't like about it is that he got a mulligan. That was at the time the biggest moment of his career. Came up short. All right, you got a mulligan. Yes, it's an incredibly tough Rams team that gave the Eagles all that they could handle, but you also did yourself no favors. It wasn't one of those where the entire team did fine let you down and you yourself still put up respectable numbers. No. that loss against the Rams did feel like it could be laid at the feet of Sam Darnold.
Let me ask you this.
Listen, the text line is backed up like a CRC broadcasting toilet, and we're up against a break. So let's just pick this up when we come back. I promise we'll get to everybody's texts. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
Get ready for a Big 12 showdown Wednesday, February 26th at 7:30 p.m. when the Sun Devil men's basketball team takes on the BYU Cougars at Desert Financial Arena.
Here's Alston Mason on the dribble. Over to Adam Miller for 3. Bullseye!
Don't miss your chance to see the high-flying action. Get your Sun Devil men's basketball versus BYU tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Did you know that daily multivitamins boost your health on the inside and the outside? It's true. Multivitamins with folic acid boost energy levels, improve your mood, and promote overall wellness. And if you decide to have a baby, they can help prevent birth defects in a pregnancy. That's why the Arizona Department of Health Services is offering a free 3-month supply of multivitamins. Visit azdhs.gov/PowerMe-A2C for free vitamins.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
It's NCAA men's basketball action
On the Fanatic.
Crossover, step back!
Saturday morning, it's a key Big 12 matchup when the 5th-ranked Houston Cougars play host to the 8th-ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Tip time is 11:45.
Catch all the action of NCAA men's basketball on your home for March Madness. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Hold on, Jeffrey. Hold on. We can't hear you on the broadcast, so make sure that his mic's up. As we come back here on the Daily Blender. And Jeffrey, if we can't hear you, so make sure Jeffrey's mic is up. How about now, Jeffrey? Nope, we don't have you yet.
Can
He
you hear
thinks
me?
I'm Mike 1 when I'm
There-
actually someplace
yes,
else.
There we
you
go. There we go. Hello, Jeffrey.
I got to say all that again. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic, and I just realized something that Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tyrannosaurus Text, this dude just showed up with a texture nickname ready to go, didn't need any sort of prompting or anything, so much respect for that. But also, if you're new to the program, you don't have to type your name every time. I already know who you are. You're in the system with ID as Tyrannosaurus Text. But anyway, he was not saying, "Oh, my name is Danny Werfel." He says that was one of the guys he said was a bust.
Yes.
96 Florida National Championship quarterback for Spurrier. So there you go. So Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm sorry. God, I keep wanting to call him Rex. Can we just call you? I mean, I get the idea.
It's a play on words, Jeffrey. That's the
I
whole.
know.
It defeats the purpose if you don't.
Tyrannosaurus text. I'll work harder on saying that correctly. 888-368-1580. Is that what happened there, Harris? You thought I was on a mic, but I was actually on another thing, or what happened there? I'm just curious. Everything all right? Are
Yeah.
you okay?
Everything's good now. We are all good to go. All good to go.
Well, what happened?
I think what happened, I didn't have your mic turned up to the best audio. It was low.
Oh, like, okay. So low that nobody could hear me.
Yes.
Okay.
But I turned
Just want you to know, don't do that. Okay, that's all. 888-368-1580. Niner 1680 has a question for the new guy.
Okay.
Jordan or LeBron?
Man. Well, I actually saw this video recently of someone asking all of these NBA executives, Jordan and LeBron.
No.
Every
Stop,
single
stop,
one of them.
Stop. You, not them. You, with your own eyes and your own thoughts and your own experience watching LeBron, and I'm sure you've watched Michael Jordan.
Well, I was getting to the point.
No, I want to hear from you, not those executives. Don't make your opinions based on what other people think.
Well,
What
let
do
me
you
say,
think?
those are the best minds in the sport. So they all said Jordan. So my mind is immediately to defer to them. They know more.
Well, in
than
that
I
case,
do.
you're right.
Yes, they all said Jordan.
We had so much hope for you, Harris.
So I'll say that. I think LeBron has the better stats. I think comparing two players.
Well,
in
you know
different
why?
eras,
Because he played way longer, but
which I think is
won
an argument.
less.
Is an argument.
It's not long. It's not an argument.
That's an argument.
It is an
Michael
argument.
Jordan
Jeffrey.
was able to do more in less time, and it weren't for the fact that he got in trouble for gambling and had to go play baseball for a while and then come back. Those years would have been filled with greatness too.
Yeah.
So
You believe those conspiracies?
Everything in context. Whatever it doesn't matter if I believe the conspiracies or not. That was a chunk of time. If he'd have continued to play basketball, they would have been filled with greatness. Now, whether it was because of the gambling or just because he got a wild hair, well, I'll leave that to history to decide.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be true. There are people that believe it.
Let's see here. So Baker's cocky hen says, I have an idea. Send Creed and Nickelback to perform at the prison where Sandusky is.
Oh, God.
That would finally kill him.
That would be them using their power for good, Jeffrey. You might be a proponent of that move.
Scratch Me Because says, hey, what about that? ASU hockey, huh? What about that?
Ooh, sorry, breaking news. This just in. Victor Wembanyama, doubtful tomorrow versus the Suns.
Oh, no.
I know that's a positive Suns news, right?
Wait, is that a home game?
That I'd have to look.
Yeah, because it's a home game. Listen, Wembanyama shows up. It's worth going to see another, which you might call a generational talent. He's an amazing player. He seems like a good kid. And
no, that's over at Spurs land.
Reads a lot of books.
So never mind.
So if he's not here, then oh no.
And right now it's San Antonio -1.5. I think if Wembanyama is actually ruled out, Suns would be favored.
Yeah, well,
possibly.
These days, does that matter? The Suns find ways to lose the games they're supposed to win right now. So don't get me started.
What do you guys think's the biggest issue with the Suns?
Team chemistry on the court.
Okay, let's go down the list. First problem with the Suns, and it's also the best thing that ever happened. It's Ishbia. Ishbia coming in as an owner was a great thing for the Suns, but then when he decided to play GM and tell James Jones what to do, well, then that was not so great. And some good things have happened, but it hasn't been what we hoped. We don't have the chemistry behind the very talented players that the Suns have. We also sacrificed a better bench because of all the money that's in the top three. So, he's the best thing and the worst thing that has happened in a while, but I think he's smart enough to step back and let James Jones start to do his job because he's very good, I think, at his job. Now, outside of that, injuries didn't help. Chemistry is an issue. A new head coach every year ain't helping. And Budenholzer, as we've talked about before on this show, not the leader of players. He's he's good brain. He's a good coach, but he's not like the rah-rah. And we don't have a player who's a guy who can like Draymond Green everybody together or Jimmy Butler everybody together. So you got some professionals. They show up with a lunchbox. They go out there. They put up their shots. They do their best. They play hard. And they give you what you're paying, but it's not making W's. That's the thing. So I'm not going to blame Kevin Durant. I'm not going to blame Devin Booker or Bradley Beal. It's just the chemistry is not there, and it's just not working. So that's at least what I think. I don't know, Phil.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that the best hope for Matt Ishbia is that he can somehow learn from his mistakes. One wonders, because usually in an owner situation, very rarely do they learn, and they usually are what they are. Jerry Jones was Jerry Jones the entire time.
Hope.
Yeah, and Dan, the guy who owned the Washington Commanders prior to him leaving, he was always the way that he's did. So very rarely do you get like a Robert Kraft, who's probably like the one guy who's really hands off, that was hands on at the beginning, got them to a Super Bowl, and was like, let me just give it to Bill Belichick, and he'll take care of it for the rest. Very rarely do you find owners that are hands off and will stay that way, especially having learned to do that.
Jerry Krause.
Jerry Krause, certainly.
Yeah, at Jerry Krause.
I differ from you, Jeffrey, is that I do think some of the blame does need to go on Devin Booker, because he's the one that the entire team would least like to trade. They're certainly putting up for sale signs on Bradley Beal. Don't think anybody will bite. Kevin Durant, they don't want to, but they certainly will in the offseason if needed to in order to reboot everything. So Devin Booker has been drafted here, been fostered in the culture. He pretty much, for all intents and purposes, is the Phoenix Suns culture and is really the lone attractive point that is the constant here. He's supposed to be our franchise player. I'm sorry, I kind of want more leadership out of him. I don't have expectations for Kevin Durant.
You can want, but if a guy is not wired that way, it's not even fair to say Devin Booker or Kevin Durant, who they are doing what they have been paid to do. You should have brought in a guy that you knew would be that guy to help lead the team.
Right. But once you go on, I would argue, Jeffrey, that he's getting paid more. And the reason why he's getting paid more is because he is a franchise player, because he was drafted here, because he is so much a stalwart of this team. And he's an icon onto the Phoenix Suns, at least their history, and as far as records and points and history, we'll look back on him as. And he's getting paid more because he is a tenured player, because he has grown in the Phoenix Suns culture. I would say that the extra money is there for, and there are different styles of leadership. You can be a yeller, you can be Draymond Green, you can be feisty and everything else. If that's not your cup of tea, you can be Eli Manning and just look confused as hell on the sideline, look like a kid lost in a Costco, and still lead the team. And still nobody on that team says, Eli Manning, we would go to bat for him. We all loved him, and we all did what we could for Eli Manning. There's different ways of leadership, and you're right. Just because you do your job, that's not entirely what the money's for.
All right. Well, now Harris, you tell us.
Yeah, I think Ishbia and Jerry Jones have very similar tendencies.
You don't know that yet with Ishbia. You can't say that yet. It's too soon.
Let me tell you. When Ishbia got the team, he went out, he traded Mikal Bridges, he traded Cam Johnson.
Oh, I miss those guys so much.
Yep.
Mikal Bridges, yeah.
All championship role players to go all in on Kevin Durant, who, yes, is a star, but coming off an Achilles injury and an older guy. I still think Kevin Durant's really good. I'm just saying, when you give up that much capital and that many picks right when Ishbia took the team, you could say that's really hands-on. Really hands-on of an owner.
Absolutely hands-on.
Yeah, kind of like Jerry Jones. It's the same way how he's the GM. They have similar tendencies. That's what I'm saying.
Give it a few more years before you tag him with the Jerry Jones thing.
I never said he is Jerry
That's
Jones.
heavy.
I just said they have similar tendencies.
He's very hands-on, I think, is the key.
Is he like Kevin Spacey hands-on?
No, that's a little too hands-on.
Sorry, that's right. All right. Berg says the culture has been bleep for 15 years. Well, but there's a culture change when Ishbia showed up, and they cleared out a lot of that negative.
The culture's improved.
Yeah, but now it's like you've just flopped it over from a horrible place for the people in the head office to work to like if Harris is right, a Jerry Jones situation. But I don't believe that's what this is. I don't believe that until I see more of that. So you want to give a quarterback 3 years, Harris, but you don't want to give an owner 2. I mean, come on, give him a little more time.
I never said that. I just said he's showing some tendencies. He has tendencies. I never said he should sell the team or anything like that. He's just really hands-on. And when you have a really good GM like James Jones, who was there and paid to do that, who played in the NBA for a long time and won championships, well, there you go. I mean, that is tough to be a GM and to fully operate when you have an owner that's that hands-on like that.
Also, I take umbrage with the fact that there's been no culture for 15 years. There was pretty good culture around there when they made their finals run with Chris Paul.
There
like
was.
maybe it was just Chris Paul's culture, but there was no
okay,
complaint.
now listen, the culture that I was talking about was head office, not players,
certainly,
coaches, not the functioning team itself. The problem with the if you're going to say culture, it says you've had a bunch of different coaches and people, they just haven't found themselves. They haven't found themselves as a team since a couple coaches ago. I mean, Monty, for all everybody wanted to be upset about, he actually had a good culture there, Phil. You're right. So it's just nobody has had enough time to really see this thing come together. And again, we've already listed off the reasons: lack of leadership, they're all over the road. Number one Rattlers fan says, "Welcome to the show, Harris. You'll find working with these guys is just okay." Are you familiar with the Arizona Rattlers?
I am familiar.
He says there's only 39 days to the home opener. He says repeat champs coming up.
All right. I mean, to be honest with you, not as familiar as I should be, but hey, you guys can catch me up.
I can't catch you up for nothing. I don't know anything about it. But number
I'll
one
do my
Rattlers
homework
fan
tonight.
does.
I'll get back to you.
Big George says, I'm not there yet, but one more mediocre year from the Arizona Cardinals, and it'll be time to find another coach and GM. Harris is right. There have been some big draft gaffes so far by the Cardinals management.
Yeah.
It's not a gaffe, though. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr., that was a good pick.
Well, even though we are underwhelmed by Marvin Harrison Jr., he did set a record for receptions and passing
Could have
yards.
been way better
It
and more.
should. I would even
a lot
argue
of drop
should have been.
passes, a lot of stuff where he didn't make the effort to come back to the ball or help his quarterback out. But I think he was just lost a lot of the time because there wasn't good communication between Kyler Murray and him.
So I don't think that can be a lost pick. I mean, just because he underwhelmed. He wasn't.
You always draft him.
Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't like a bust. Like he wasn't like the Chargers wide receiver that they've been trying to make something out of. Quentin Nelson, they're trying to make something out of nothing over there. He's not that bad, but the coaching, I'm a little iffy on that one too.
Yeah.
T Leisure says Cardinals' issue with drafting is making a player play a different position than what they played. Reddick, Simmons, Collins, to name a few.
You could say that's a good point.
Well, but that's not a new thing. Other teams will do the same thing with guys they have coming in to either fit the square peg in the round hole because it's something they absolutely need and it's something that they feel that player can do. So I don't know if that's a uniquely Cardinals thing.
Well, football is a team game. And when you put a guy in a situation to where the team around him, there's issues with it or whatever it may be, then it's going to be harder for him to succeed. And I think that's the issue with the Cardinals is we've seen great players come in and just there's a repeated trend of guys who balled out in college in great situations, raving reviews in the draft. Everything's there and just hasn't quite panned out. So I think, again, I go back to this. It's a part of a deeper problem for the Cardinals that I can't tell you, that none of us can tell you, that the box scores can't tell you. I think it's something inner, something deeper.
Moldy Tuna Fish says, I want to ask Harry, the new guy. It's not Harry, it's Harris.
I can take Harry.
How do you pronounce Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, how else do you pronounce Missouri? Is it tomato or tomato?
Tomato.
Wait, what do you?
Tomato.
No, I'm not arguing with you, Harris.
Who says tomato?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard anybody actually say tomato, except when they say, who says tomato, who says tomato.
I've heard the expression tomato.
But
I've
that's the only time you hear anyone say
tomato.
tomato.
Right. I haven't heard anyone actually say tomato.
I might poke a guy in the eye if I heard him say tomato. Lost Toby says Wimby's out and the Spurs will still win by 7. That's kind of where the Suns have been lately. Amaya D, I don't know what it's for, but I appreciate it. Says, well said, Jeffrey. Yeah, that was back in like 10 minutes ago. So whatever I said, you got it. Fish Tank says, whenever you're feeling low about the Suns, just remember, at least we have $2 hot dogs. That's where Matt Ishbia has really been a star, is by affordable concessions.
Way to find the positive. Yeah, that is cool. That is pretty cool.
You got that's all we got.
Ishbia wants to win. And if he really wants, probably you could say more than Sarver, who traded, was it Luol Deng or for like a bag of chips. And so having a guy who really wants to win, being
You got a
the
guy
head
who'll
guy.
spend money, and you got a
Yes.
guy who
Yes.
doesn't care about the apron. if
When
you
you
know what I
have
mean.
someone who has the assets and has the want, eventually you play the odds game, it'll work itself out. Suns are just in a really hard situation with draft capital right now. They don't have a lot of assets. They went all in on now, and you have also, this is something about the Suns I want to specify. You have three guys in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant who do a lot of the same things, who score a lot of the same ways. They're both very, very heavily reliant on the
Right.
mid range.
Right.
And so you have three guys like that. It becomes harder to play complementary basketball. That's why
Mhm.
Bradley Beal had to come off the bench.
Mr. Wilbur says, Phil, don't you ever badmouth Costco again.
Hey, Eli Manning, supposed
He
Hall of
seemed like
Famer.
a kid who was lost in Costco.
Yeah.
How is that bad-mouthing Costco?
Now, the other day I did say Costco is elitist, but
Elitist?
certain people
That's
like
facts.
Jeffrey
That's
O'Brien takes that as a compliment.
I have a Costco membership, but I don't think we've been there in like 8 years.
Really?
My wife is always
Costco
here's what it
loves
is.
you.
We have the
Costco is
Costco
like-
membership where it's like we should go to Costco, and then you think about the line, and you think about like we live in Queen Creek, so turning into the Costco off of Ellsworth, there's just like always a line. You're like, ugh, and then you walk in, and there's just wall to wall people. Oh God, I don't care for that. We have the membership. I would bet we never use it. We don't use it for the gas. We don't use it because it's out there, out of our way. There's just so many reasons why I should. Well, I don't even know. I don't even have the card. My wife holds it because she knows I'm not going anywhere.
You are the exact members that Costco loves and wants.
Yep, they're exactly.
I
what
don't
you
want
want.
to cancel. I don't want to cancel.
The moment you do, then you become
It's
the
like
opposite.
it's like that subscription that you just haven't canceled.
Yeah.
That's the only one I can think of because everything else we use. But also I'm a little scared that like somebody from Costco will show up at the house. Moldy Tuna Fish says, "Hey, Bo Harry." What?
I think
Hey,
he's
Bo.
referring to Harris, excuse me.
Hey, Bo Harry, a bag of chips can be worth a lot. I can be swayed with a good bag of Cape Cod kettle cooked potato chips.
Ooh, say that 3 times fast, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I just said it
cooked-
once. It worked.
Good.
T-Licious says, Suns have had garbage culture since Nash got traded to the damn Lakers. CP3 gave us a taste for like 2 seasons. You know what? He didn't give you culture. He gave you leadership. Like him or hate him, CP3 was the leadership that the Suns are very badly missing now. Accountability. He would tell you. We don't have that now. Some guys are like, oh, guess it didn't work. That's it.
Chris Paul was a great compliment to Devin Booker too. You had
Mm-hmm.
a different variance of play styles, which is something that Phoenix doesn't necessarily have now.
Devil Hawk says, you keep Costco's name out of your whorish mouth, Phil. Costco is God's gift to earth.
Again, I think Jeffrey is the one who's more down on all I say is that they're very elitist. That's it.
No, I'm just saying I never go. That's it.
I think Costco.
I don't like a sea of people. That's all. It's not saying anything bad about Costco. It's just
I love me some Costco. In fact, I want to put Costco in my mouth.
Hey,
Costco
Devil
hot
Hawk
dog.
said keep Costco's name out of your whorish mouth, Phil.
Well, they got half of that right.
We got to take a break. When we come back, other things. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hungry for something exciting? Then come experience what's new at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 Valley locations. No one does Asian-inspired cuisine better or more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppen chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, it isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire with their daily specials. Try their new $12 bar menu items, Wagyu beef and Mongolian pork sliders, chicken or beef satay, and 3 delicious flavors of chicken karaage. 2025 is on fire at Kasai with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road and Thunderbird, and now open in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's KASAI Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Did you know that vitamins are your partners in health, not just inside, but outside too? These nutrients are key to our daily well-being. And for anyone who can get pregnant, folic acid is a must for preventing birth defects, helping you have a healthier pregnancy. The Arizona Department of Health Services is offering 3 months of free daily vitamins with folic acid. Power your health inside and out. Get your free vitamins at azdhs.gov/PowerMe A2C.
Sponsored by the Arizona Department of Health Services.
If you're age 62 or older and own a home, this message is for you. Reverse Rob here, Money Radio's expert on reverse mortgages. Learn how to tap the equity in your home and increase the quality of your life by earning tax-free income while protecting your other retirement assets. Join us for our free Second Saturdays webinar every month to learn more. This is not too good to be true. All you need to do is reverse your thinking. Call me today, Reverse Rob, to learn more at 602-REVERSE. That's 602-738-3773, or download my app by searching Retire Right with Reverse Rob.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. 1580 The Fanatic.
And at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. All right. Lost Toby once. You all know that Costco delivers. I don't know. I ain't got time for that. Big George says, I got a question for Mr. Harris. What do you think about satellites from space? Shut up, George. And have you ever experienced dinnertainment?
Dinnertainment?
At Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. You ever been to Kasai?
No, I have not.
Make hungry faces at Ron. Maybe he'll set you up with a gift certificate or something.
I have never been.
Yeah.
Never been.
Well, you should. You should. Hey, I know you're a sports betting kind of guy. Phil, do you do the sports betting?
I do.
Okay.
Usually only on football, though, as I feel most confident in that.
Sure. I have decided. See, here's what you don't know about me, Harris. When it comes to picking, I am probably one of the best pickers around. I've won the Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em contest like 4 out of however many years we've been doing it. I can't win the prize, so then the second place guy, he gets the $1,580. I have missed out on so much money, but I just do it for fun and pride. But my wife is like, "Why aren't you gambling on this?" I couldn't believe that my wife would say that, but it's just true. And of course, Ralph is like, "Oh, he cheats." I do not cheat. Is impossible with our format to be able to do that. So I have decided, I'm announcing it, next year I am betting my picks.
Whoa.
I'm gonna. I don't know. So tell me, if I bet my picks, and I just put $1 on each and every one of my picks, I won't make much money. But
so, in order to be a
will I
professional,
make some?
In order to be a professional gambler, the percentage of wins that you need to have is around 53%.
I'm at 71%, 72% on my NFL picks every season for the entire season.
So as long as you keep your betting units consistent, as long as you're not chasing bad bets, a la, you bet the Panthers +3 and then they're down.
I never bet on the Titans to win. That was smart.
That certainly was.
Nor did I.
But as long as you pick, and also it kind of depends too on whether or not that's on the spread as well. It needs to be on even odds. So if you're picking, I don't know, the Chiefs to beat the Jaguars, then it's probably -5 or something, whatever the line would be. And so if you're betting just the Chiefs to win, then you're losing a lot of value.
Yeah. Like this season, I finished in 9th place in our whole listing with 71.3%. But previous seasons, I was the top dog with 73%. So within that range, so $1 on each pick, how much money will I win?
Well, how many picks do you have?
All of them. I'm going to do every game.
Every game.
Every game.
$1 on each. Okay, so $16 a week. I think I can handle that.
Yeah. No, that's just.
Or should it be $10 in every game?
$10 every game. If this is the year that you're
Next
off.
Step.
yeah. If this is the year that you're off, you would lose at least in triple figures. You're hopefully not at 1,000, depending on how bad it can get.
All right. So $1 per game. How much could I win in, say, a week?
In a week? Well, I mean, if you win them all, then what, $16?
I did do that 1 week this year. I did have perfect picks.
70% of 16, like 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we don't do math here. If you like math, then we're going to ask you all the math questions.
Yeah, don't become the math guy. Trust me. In the beginning, I tried to be math guy.
I'm going to
Don't
try to be math guy. I have my calculator here, so I'm doing.
Well, that's not math
6%
guy. That's cheating, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, it was week 13. I got perfect picks. 16 right.
That's incredible.
There you go.
I mean, I don't know why. I you know,
What was the
I
upset?
just have
on-
an instinct. You
I'm
know?
curious. What was the upset on week 13 that nobody saw coming that you got? Because every week there's one. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Week 13.
Well, I think no, I don't think there was one. Ralph missed on the Falcons beating the Chargers.
Oh, week 13 was Thanksgiving week. That was an interesting slate. I'm trying to say this
yeah.
while you get this. Yeah. There's not really any true upsets
Yeah, I
here.
didn't see any upsets.
Yeah. So that kind of makes. Oh, I guess the Eagles Ravens. That was a pretty big game to get right.
Were you picking spreads or money lines?
Child, please. It was just picks.
So you would pick a team outright.
Yeah, that's how we do the Harmon Solar NFL Fan Pick'em picks contest. You just pick winner. So no spread. It's just who wins the game between the Lions and the Bears.
So the thing
that was obvious.
That was very obvious. The thing about betting too is people gotta understand, like, you'll get a team at like minus 300 or minus 400. So if you bet $10, you may only get back $3 or $4 if a pick is easier to make. So I can't quite tell you how much money you're going to get on your picks, but
I put in $16. I win what? Maybe $5 back? $6, $10.
Sure.
I'm not looking to go crazy here. I'm baby stepping on this. I'm just going to baby step in, and then if I start to feel more comfortable, then maybe I'll do the $10 picks.
Yeah.
Lost Toby says Jeffrey is in cahoots with the NFL. Yeah, I'm that powerful, Lost Toby. That's how powerful I am. Tyrannosaurus Tech says, depends if you're betting spreads or money lines. If you're betting spreads, 70% is impossible.
It's very, very, very good. 70%, you'll be making a big ROI.
I would never do spreads. I just don't have that kind of attention span, you know?
Yeah.
Big George says, how does Harris feel about doing an all-night draft special with Ralph?
NFL draft? What exactly?
Well, yeah, NFL draft.
NFL draft?
What other draft would he even bother broadcasting?
NBA gets broadcasted?
No.
Yeah.
They do the ping pongs where you can't see it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just like, hey, there's a guy that you care about, and then the rest is just like whatever. There's no entertainment value to the NBA draft, even less to Major League Baseball, because everybody goes off to the farm system, and maybe you'll hear from them again in a couple of years. NHL,
The NBA is sort of getting to that point. It's getting really talented. I think it needs an expansion.
Yeah, that's part of the problem is whenever we talk about these teams and like on all the scoring's up and yada, 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 we've never had this influx of talent because not only do you have more talented people at the highest heights and the best training regimens and yada, yada locally, now you're getting the best of the best from across the globe. It's the talent level is insane. And when you're all isolated to 30 teams, you're going to get teams that naturally have like what would have been all-star caliber players across and maybe your third star, you know?
The thing about basketball too, people got to understand is basketball, I don't know if it is to this day, but it's up there for the most played youth American sport. So a lot of people play basketball. There are only 5 guys on the court, right? And baseball, you get 9, football, you get 11.
Told you he was a math guy.
Yeah. There you go. So basketball, the NBA is really hard to break into. So the talent, I mean, for example, like Malachi Flynn is this G League player, right? He's doing really good. He dropped like 30 in a game. This is a G League player. So you can get your like 13th man dropping 30. That tells you, all right, the league's a little more the league's really talented. Because in the 2000s, we got to the point to where when Jordan retired and there was that massive expansion, there was not enough talent, maybe. Now there's too much.
You look at like people like Mac McClung, everybody dumps on him, but he would kill in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
Well, let me just say this. As a Phoenix Suns fan, I don't know if that's true, that there's too much talent.
Oh yeah. Well, no, their problem is that they have too much talent, but yet somehow they still
We're
find a
out
way
of money.
to not play Tyus Jones. I have no idea why they got Tyus Jones and don't play him more. I don't understand.
I think they got Tyus Jones because they realized there was a hole when they traded Chris Paul.
No, yes, it makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me is why he's not getting more minutes.
Yeah.
That's what doesn't make sense to me. He himself makes sense, and there's a solution on your roster, or at least something to try. And they don't give him more minutes. I've never understood it.
Yeah,
Lost Toby says it's not how it works, Jeffrey. Most of your picks are the favorite. So $1 might only get you 30 cents. No, I understand that. I understand that it'll be a limited return, but I mean, I gotta dip my toe in the water. Raven Kid says if Jeffrey had that connection with the NFL, I don't think he'd be on the blender anymore. Well, that's exactly what they want you to think. Slow Mozo says, Harris, what is your feeling in international soccer?
Depends.
Don't care.
Love the World Cup.
Fish Tank says, I find it's helpful to have a degenerate friend to make you feel better about your gambling.
That is true.
Harris, will you be my degenerate friend?
Sure.
Man, by the way, when it comes to certain sports, we're not. We don't do soccer.
Yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. Don't care about it.
I think the international World Cup stuff is awesome.
Well, you enjoy that. In the meantime, leave me alone.
I will enjoy it.
Fish Tank says, I got a buddy and I thought he'd really hit bottom gambling, ping pong games, but I was wrong. He's now gambling on people playing the basketball video game. It's called e-basketball for anyone who wants to feel awful about themselves.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think we all have that friend who shows you at the end of the week, oh my goodness, I lost this 17-leg NFL parlay because Devontae Adams didn't catch a ball in the fourth quarter specifically, and it would have paid me $20,000 for my $1. It's like, guys, the moment you said 20-leg parlay, you were done.
Here's the thing. Parlays. That's like trying to win the lottery. And it's like, yeah, you don't win if you don't play. So if you put a dollar in and you're like, oh, I could win 20,000, you're not hurting nobody. But if you are betting more than you're able to bet on some of these cockamamie things, I'm going to judge you a little bit. But
I wouldn't do parlays also.
Yeah. Parlays are sucker bets.
Radio Run loves the parlays.
Yep.
I'm sure.
Loves that, Phil?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I said, it takes a high intelligent mind to come up with a brilliant parlay.
Oh no, but he'll even admit he's like, yeah, you win few and far between, but man, when you do,
that is true. What you're buying is that win.
Satisfying.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a lottery thing. It's not as much. I'm putting a chunk of money to win a big chunk of money.
That win just makes your entire weekend. You walk around a little bit taller. You eat a little bit sweeter food.
All right. Well, listen, that is 2 hours down. We got one to go. And let me tell you, we're not so much of a sports betting show. I mean, we'll talk about the odds and the this and the that. And I know the Harris is a sports betting guy, so they'll probably find its way in. But we are Arizona sports betting station, 1580 The Fanatic.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
The Renaissance Festival is back, weekends now through March 30th. Be ready to have a great time. Amazing adventure awaits the entire family. New shows, shopping, jousting nights, non-stop feasting. Leave your cares behind. Happiness reigns at the Renaissance Festival. It's fun and affordable. You'll love the Renaissance. Visit now through March 30th. Discount tickets available at Bashers' and Food City or online at arizona.redfestinfo.com. Presented by Delta Airlines, Bashers', Food City, Pepsi, Budweiser, and Guinness. Huzzah!
Think you can handle a few drinks and still drive safely? Think again. Buzzed driving is drunk driving, and drunk driving can land you in serious trouble. In Arizona, there's zero tolerance for impaired driving. Even one drink can cost you thousands in fines and legal fees. Plus, take away your driver's license. So plan ahead. Use a designated driver or rideshare. Get the facts at drivesober.az.gov. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire, and as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White, but we got Phil the filling in for Randy. We got Harris, the new guy, learning how to work the board, and we got you guys on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. So, Harris, I was clumsily trying to say at the end of the hour there that your experience in sports betting might add a new wrinkle to the show, where maybe you can help educate the listeners in some of the ways that you have found successful, or keep it to yourself because you're making money and you don't want anyone else to.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a good side hustle for me. It paid for some of my classes in college, and I've developed formulas and all of that. And so, yeah, it has become a great side hustle for me.
Yeah, it's paid for some of his classes in college. His parents, however, have had to sell the farm. Oh, that just
and
yeah,
only,
right.
oh no, they used to have 5 dogs.
That was funny.
Happy Lefty says, you can get great value on Mormon League basketball. Got to fade the Chaparral Ward right now. That Swig drink place opened up down the street, and their team's getting hit with the sugar crash pretty hard.
An excuse to watch Jimmer Fredette play. I hope he's in this Mormon basketball league because, I mean, an excuse to watch him play. Sign me up, man. Sign me up.
I thought he was kidding. Is that a real thing?
Oh, yeah.
No, I have no idea, actually.
Oh,
I don't know. I just,
well,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Jimmer Fredette, I think, isn't he Mormon?
Yeah, he's from went to BYU. And yeah.
They'd be very excited because they'd be like, hey, Dad, hey, Mom, hey, Mom, hey, Mom, hey, Mom, hey, Mom, hey, Mom. Game starting. 888-368-1580. So, U.S. sports betting industry, they said this today, $13.7 billion worth of revenue for the year 2024.
Yep.
Now, they are like, yay, we made $13.7 billion. And I'm sitting there going, ooh, that means everyone else lost $13.7 billion. The house always wins. But if you get lucky, and it's fun and it's just entertainment, just be careful out there. What is your tips for staying safe in the world of betting, Harris?
Well, I say if you don't know what you're doing, I say don't bet or take picks from people that know more than you. I will say that is a huge one. Always have a certain amount of humility of how much you know, because I think that humility can save you a lot of money. I consider sports betting like the stock market. You're investing in a team at a certain price. And if the price is adequate, if the price is a value, you go for it. For example, if you think, let's say hypothetical, Bills and Jets here. The Bills are minus 300 to win. If you think the Bills are going to win, okay. But minus 300 is the price you're taking them at. That's a 75% chance if you go through some math wiggles. Do you think the Bills would beat the Jets 75% of the time?
Yes.
If you think it's around. Right.
Sorry, I thought that was a real question.
Yes, it's a hypothetical. Yeah.
Sorry.
It can be. No, it's okay.
I like to answer questions.
No, it's okay. If you think it's going to be an 80% time, maybe 85.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Then
I did
hey,
it again.
Jeffrey.
Yep.
Then
sorry.
hey, Jeffrey, you have like a 5% value. So in that case,
my mom says I have 100% value.
Hey, you do.
She says I'm a handsome boy.
Yeah.
When she sees you and the FaceTime actually works, Jeffrey.
Don't act like
Maybe
you don't
she
use the
says that on-
filters too.
Maybe she says that on call. Did she say
Shut
that on
up.
FaceTime?
Just talk about your Betty thing.
Okay, so if you think Buffalo is going to win 80% and there's a 75% chance the books think they've set that line, you think you have a 5% chance. So lay $5 on it. Then again, that decision has got to be really educated. It's got to be well thought out. Putting like $5 on a team with some friends, that's fun. But once you get it up to like, certain like, I'm going to put 50, I'm going to put 100. I know a kid who bet on Kazakhstan volleyball games.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you heard me. And the bookie came in and confiscated his PS4. I'm not kidding you.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
nowadays you don't need a bookie. You just do the stuff online.
Unless if you're under 21.
Oh, well,
do need
okay.
a
You shouldn't be doing that
Yeah.
under 21.
Uh-huh.
Bruno
That's
Baller
the
says,
thing.
am I understanding correctly that Harris is the new guy and this isn't just an audition for the job?
That
Well,
question isn't for me.
Hmm?
That question is not for me.
Harris, sometimes I like a dramatic pause.
Okay, that's fair.
Jeffrey does have a taste for the dramatics.
Yeah.
Not as much as you, Phil.
No,
Bruno Baller. Yes, Harris is the new guy, and he's training right now. That's why Phil is here. And Phil's here because Randy's not here, but Phil is helping teach Harris the ways of the running the board.
He's
for
doing a
us.
good job. He's doing a good
So-
job.
Well, that depends on how good a job you do. So basically, there's a little bit of a humble brag right there, wasn't it?
No, I was just saying he's doing a good job teaching.
Humble
That's it.
brag, Harris.
We'll see, Harris. We'll see.
All right.
Devil Hawk says, does Harris have an alter ego on the text line? Does he go by against the spread? No, against the spread's a whole nother guy.
Yeah. Whole nother guy.
Harris never even heard of us. He still probably hasn't listened.
No, that's not true.
He's
That's not
on
true.
the show now.
I
He's
have
listening.
listened.
Yeah.
I have listened.
Mr. Wilbur says, Harris, please tell me you hate the Seahawks and the Dodgers.
No, I don't.
I don't think Harris hates anything. I've yet to hear him utter just like, oh my gosh, those damn Jets. No, I haven't heard.
How could
us
you
think-
hate the Jets, man? I look
don't
at
hate
them
them.
and I
They're-
feel
No, they're
bad for
pathetic.
them.
The
Yeah.
Raiders. The Raiders are the ones I hate.
Pat on the head.
Really, the Raiders. Why
As
the
a
Raiders?
Broncos fan and the Raiders.
Oh yeah, they haven't done anything since Rich Gannon.
Yeah, they are pathetic, but they also are very loud, so it's annoying.
Yeah,
The
they
Jet
are.
says, tell new Keon to pour me a drink.
Pour him a drink.
Oh, do you
Okay,
have
moving around here?
I don't know what. No, it's on the button bar.
Oh, on the button bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck. I don't know if it's even labeled.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's labeled.
He'll learn, Jet. Shut up.
getting
Raven
I'm getting
Kid
there.
says, oh, so you can get on the job training for the board. I thought you had to be pre-ready to do that. Well, he has some experience. He's just getting trained on our systems. and stuff.
Reacquainted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he ain't completely green. Boogie says, are you letting Harris do the show sober yet? Boogie, you know damn well we don't let anybody do the show sober.
That would be irresponsible of us to do so.
Hell is wrong with you, Boogie? Booze and Raider says,
Don't you
well,
feel,
thanks for that.
Don't you feel like you lost something while saying that, Jeffrey? Like self-respect? My goodness.
I got no problem with the Raiders.
Put a lot into that.
He typed it. He put a lot into typing it. so
Yeah,
I read it.
no. I know you did right, Jeffrey.
I
but-
know they're your rival. I don't care about that. I don't care about your rival. I mean, really, and Harris and his Tennessee Titans, not even my rival.
No,
Who
that's
is your
true.
rival?
That is true, but
Do the Colts really have a rival?
no, because everybody
Really?
else does.
You guys, the Patriots
Kinda-
pissed us off pretty good.
kinda-
At a lot of different times.
That was a
It
break.
was
Yeah.
Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a
But
Brady Manning.
no, we haven't been good enough to really aggravate anybody in a little bit, anyways.
Also, your division though it doesn't have a lot of history behind it, so it's hard. Like, I mean,
division, yeah,
division, yeah, your
Okay,
division, yeah.
My team does. My team probably has more impressive history than anyone in the division.
Maybe the
Texans,
Oilers,
the Titans,
the Titans,
the
maybe.
Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars and Texans, when they take up half of your division, you're not going to have a lot of great divisional matchups.
I think the AFC South was kind of like the NFL saying, like, what do we do with this? Because it used to be the AFC Central.
We're not
when
even
it was
Southern.
30 teams.
We shouldn't be in there.
When it was 30 teams. Yeah, I know. I do wonder, but I think they viewed all these teams and they're like, we don't quite know where to put these guys, and then just
that is one of the great NFL what ifs of all time. Is if because the Patriots were in the same division as the Colts, and they just left right before Manning and Brady both became who they were. So they'd have had to play. They would have had to play with each other, and then also, well, hold on to yourself. If Brady and Manning would have had to play against each other twice a year, every year, and then only one of them gets the division instead of Brady getting the cupcake that he did, that was the AFC East during his time there.
Woo! And I'll bet you the Colts, I mean, with the regular season resume that Peyton has, in my opinion, you could say he's the greatest regular season quarterback ever.
Yeah.
Him or Lamar Jackson.
If we were in the same division as the Patriots, we would have changed. They
would have gotten a lot of home field. Of
the Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, you might have seen the Colts with a few more Super Bowls.
Absolutely.
Could have. The fact that they only won one winning one Super Bowl is impressive. I get it. But I look at the Colts, I'm like, wow, they only won one with all that talent with Harrison Sr., Wayne.
It ain't easy
Freeney,
to win a Super Bowl. Look at the
Peyton.
Bills and their 4 appearances with nothing.
Look at Buffalo. Yeah, in the 90s, man. Late 80s, early 90s with Kelly.
Yeah,
man.
it is what it is. At least my team has a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Does yours?
No.
Well, came up that short.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Fish Tank says, I'm sorry. As the official Dolphins fan of the Blender, you can absolutely hate the Jets. Doesn't matter how bad they are. Their fans are the worst. Oh,
New
that'll
Jersey
get us
Italians.
into the worst fans discussion.
I think Cowboys and Raiders are the lone
we don't have
title
enough
holders.
time to get into that. And the Raiders aren't as bad as they used to be. I think the Cowboys fans are probably worse.
I think when they moved to Vegas, they lost a lot of their core fans.
Yeah, they came more corporate. They moved,
I think that's facts. Yeah, they did become, you could say.
Vegas
is growing.
Raven Kid says, all right, let's see if I can like this new guy. Who should have won the 2025 NFL MVP?
Josh Allen. Josh Allen should have won the 2025 NFL MVP.
I don't think.
Did.
Yeah, well, he did. Yeah, I don't think.
Which indicates that Raven Kid doesn't agree because he's a Raven Kid.
Uh-oh.
He's thinking Lamar Jackson. He now officially doesn't like you.
He was what? The only Pro Bowler on that whole offense? You take out Josh Allen, what is that Buffalo team?
Saquon Barkley. Slave Day says Harris, sorry. I can't
Harris.
Weird. Harris. Start hitting all the buttons and pour me one of everything. Slave Dave, he works for me, not you.
Yeah.
Once he learns how to pour drinks, you're over 21, right?
I am over 21.
Yeah, he can pour drinks for you.
You know what?
Boogie, we had a kid working here who was 16 and he couldn't pour drinks. That's against the law.
Yeah, it is.
Boogie says, I think Gary, Indiana should have a pro football team just so Indianapolis will have a proper rival.
Does anyone here know about Gary, Indiana? I think it's like the highest rated crime rate per capita.
That's hilarious.
They're all trying to steal enough things so they get enough money to move the hell out.
Yeah.
Bruno Baller says, do you think they should move the Colts to the AFC North and the Ravens to the AFC East and then maybe the Dolphins to the AFC South?
Absolutely not.
Makes
Take
too much
away the
sense.
Ravens-Steelers rivalry? Come on now.
Who cares?
Come on. Everyone cares. Come on. That's a big deal.
Just put the Colts where they should be.
Huge deal.
Shut up.
And the Bengals and Browns? Come on. And the Titans were in the Central, too. We had a big rivalry with the Ravens.
The Browns you should deport. Beer Bob says.
Oh, their fans, they're too loyal.
Don't care. Ohio sucks in general. Beer Bob says the Colts actually have more AFC titles than the Jets. And Indy hasn't been in that division for the last 20 plus years. That is a good point, Beer Bob.
Well, yes, but again, that was indeed the point, was that Manning and Brady together in the same division. You have to figure at least some of those division titles, especially for the New England Patriots, that came just easy. And then when they're given 6 divisional wins, essentially each and every year, that boost up their win rate to where they get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That certainly would have altered history in some regard. Maybe more directly for the Colts, maybe a little bit more for the Steelers. Who knows? But it would have affected it.
Hard to go on the road in the playoffs, man. Just ask Kansas City. Why do they have all those Super Bowls? A lot of times, I mean, why do they beat Buffalo this year? Home field helps.
The Chosen One says, afternoon, gentlemen. Vikings have been to 4 Super Bowls, similar to the Bills, and didn't win even one.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, Minnesota's, I mean, there's different types of like agony as sports fans. Like you have hopelessness, which is like the Jaguars. You're like utter emptiness, right? And then you have just heartbreak, which is where you get your hopes up. The team gives you a chance to get your hopes up. Colts in the 2000s and late 90s.
No, how about this? How about you got a generational quarterback who has book club and everything, and because the GM, Ryan Grigson, doesn't have a good enough O-line for him, he gets his spleen punctured, and he quits football 10 years before his time. And then the next thing we got is Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew and all
Philip
these
Rivers
other people.
and Matt Ryan. Two Hall of
For
Famers.
some heartbreak. Thank God they fired that greaseball Grigson, and but still, it ain't been great. I know heartbreak.
Oh, that's right. Ryan Grigson. My gosh, what a flash in the pan that was.
Woof. No, he was interviewing for a job somewhere else. I'm like, please God, let it be the Browns. But I think he was talking to the Seahawks. I don't know if he ever showed up anywhere or not, but I hope he does on someone else's team. Because that will help everyone beat that other team because he's horrible at his job.
That is how that works. Is whenever bad players or bad GMs or bad coaches are on a team, helps your rivals.
Hey Harris,
is that it?
Well, no, just hey Harris. Maybe what or just respond. I mean,
oh, I thought you were reading out a question.
You have had a conversation before, right?
No, I'm sorry.
You'll know it's me when I don't say somebody said. Hey Harris.
I thought you were reading out a question. My mistake.
No.
My mistake.
Hey, Harris.
Okay, I was looking at the board. What are we talking about here?
Hey, Harris. You just say, yeah, Jeffrey.
Yes, Jeffrey.
You like hockey?
Yes.
Do you know anything about hockey?
I'm not incredibly knowledgeable in hockey,
okay. Neither
but
are we.
I'll tell you what, though. This USA Canada thing has been awesome.
That is energized, absolutely gotten me back into the hockey.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We liked the hockey. And then when the Coyotes left town, we were just kind of sad. And now all of a sudden, Team USA has won our hearts back, especially the way they beat Canada the other day. Well, now we're getting ready to play Canada again Thursday night at 6 p.m. on the ESPN. That's the official name of their country. I mean, listen, if old Trump can change it to the Gulf of whatever, I can call it Canada. Well, here's what's the latest. Turns out Charlie McAvoy, he ain't going to be able to play. And that ain't great. That ain't great, for Team USA. But I feel like there's enough on the team to get it done that Kachuk brothers will be there.
Yep. Set the tone.
Yeah,
both
of them. And they will be good to go. They're going to go. But Kachuk has been, I think, trying to keep the bulletin board material going because bulletin board material, they booed the national anthem. Well, now the next game is here in the United States. So both teams are starting to chirp at each other through the press. And Hagel, that Canadian bastard, he came out and said, hey, that fight, that wasn't done for the cameras. That was done for the flag. You didn't start it, you bonehead. The United States started that fight. They came after you for the booing. So don't make it act like you were like, yeah, let's fight. The Americans started that fight. So shut up. And he's like, we don't need to initiate anything. Oh, I see. He says, yeah, we don't have any group chats going on. We're going out there playing our game, then giving it everything and doing it for our country. So he's making it about Canada. We're just going to play as hard as we can and do it for the flag on the chest. And then Kachuk goes, I don't know, maybe their team doesn't like each other then if they don't have group chats. Yeah, he says, Hagel's just a player enjoying his opportunity. Our team doesn't care about anything they say. There's been a lot of chatter and a lot of talk from individuals. We care about one thing in this room. We got millions of people that are watching us and supporting us around the country, United States, and we're very prideful in playing for them. So it's an opportunity of a lifetime for us. And also, they, in a serious note, they have understanding that this spotlight that has been put on these games is going to inspire some kids to play some more hockey.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the NHL's figured it out. They figured it out. It's crazy.
They got the All-Star game right. And here's the thing. Like we said the other day, it's not necessarily because it's a better playoff format or a better All-Star format. Hockey players are a different breed. They're going to play 185% no matter what game it is. First game of the season, last game of the season. All-Star game or
Teeth
just
or
pickup
not.
game out on some ice in a field. They're going to do what they're going to do because that's what they love.
Let me say this, man. I'm gonna go here. Sports are meant to be tribal. They're meant to be tribal. When you become like one in the community of a team and it unites people together, that's the beauty. The NFL does this great. Man, no one does it better than college football. Hockey in Canada, yes,
Whole nother
in
thing.
places in the Northeast, you could say, but especially I think the NBA's lacked in this area a lot. But hockey, them getting the US and Canada playing against each other, and also the politics involved in that, sort of like the Miracle on Ice, even like you could go there when us and the USSR were going back and forth. It's a big deal. It's more than just sports. And that's when sports is at its best. Hockey's figured it out. I wonder if the NBA follows.
Well, here's, and you just touched on an interesting point there. Where I wonder is that right now we're in a renaissance. Right now we're in a great enlightenment movement for hockey, where we're all saying collectively, yes, this is awesome. This is amazing.
I've always said it for the record.
Yes. But at least specifically as far as like All-Star games go, this is like amazing, right?
Sure.
Especially since we have that
The other
immediate
ones being so bad, it's put a spotlight on how great this is.
Exactly, because we have an immediate contrast right now, right?
Yeah.
What I wonder is that if that right now, because it's so novel, that everybody's going hard, everybody has a big fight on and staking the claim and yada, yada, yada. I wonder next year, novelty's off. You know, it's already happened before. Canada, USA has won, whoever it is. And next year, maybe it doesn't matter as much. We saw this in the in-season tournament in the inaugural season. The Lakers were in it, and they were going really hard. And LeBron is very much a historian of the game. So we saw him go all out for that first inaugural season tournament.
Yeah.
And you know, he wanted his name associated with the first ever in case it becomes something.
Yeah.
Next year, I'll go around the room. Jeffrey, do you remember who won this year's in-season tournament?
Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Harris, do you remember who won?
I don't
know.
even.
Off the top of my head, I don't even remember either. I couldn't tell you the two teams.
Might have been the Bucks?
I know the Pacers won last year.
It might have been the Bucks. The Pacers were in there with the Lakers because we remember it because it was novelty. We had some good
Midwestern
No, good point.
Exactly. So I wonder, and I hope not. I hope that hockey is able to bottle this up and unleash this and uncork this each and every year and keep up the standard that every other league aspires for, at least in an all-star game format.
A thought too, hockey destroyed, the NHL destroyed a lot of its popularity when they stopped allowing NHL players to play in the Olympics. You know how many people watched the gold medal game in 2010, the US and Canada? 30 million people. 30 million people. After the Super Bowl, that would be today the second most watched sporting event in the US, more than the college football national championship, more than the NBA finals, whatever it may be. So when they stopped allowing players to play in the Olympics, it really costed them a lot of popularity. Another fact here, this game, the US and Canada, I think 4.5 million, 5 million people watched it. That's the second in America. That's the second most watched game in America since COVID. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup last year is the only one that beats it. So them doing this, going back to their roots here.
Yeah. Bruno Baller says, Jeffrey, if the USA made a deep run in World Cup soccer, would you take more of an interest? No. Wilbur says it'd be awesome if all the U.S. hockey team members would come out wearing the number 51 on their jersey. Making them the 51st state. I don't care about the politics of any of this, but you boo us on our national anthem.
Yeah.
You get what you get.
Get what you get, man.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. More of the Daily Blender after this. You're on 1580 The Fanatic.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. ¿Vos está pronto?
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast, too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. That's when the afternoon took an exciting turn. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful DC turbo engine, well, we had more than enough time to see all the animals. Whoa. And outrun a few.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now, Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000 MSRP. Shop at your local Nissan store or at nissanusa.com. 2024 Nissan Altima, Kicks, Leaf, Rogue, Sentra, and Versa. All prices are manufacturer's suggested retail price. Manufacturer's suggested retail price excludes destination and handling charges, tax, title, license, and options. Dealer sets actual prices.
Every day, parents are investing in their children's futures, from helping with math to practicing for spelling tests to saving money for their education. I'm Arizona State Treasurer Kimberly Yee. As parents, we want to give our children every opportunity. An AZ 529 education savings plan grows tax-free. So by saving even $15 a month now, we can make a big difference later. And that is the best investment of all. Learn more at az529.gov.
Sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
We put you so close to the game, you can almost smell the sweat.
Ooh, awkward.
GCU basketball is live on the Fanatic.
Saturday night, it's live action from the Global Credit Union Arena as the Lopes welcome in the Lancers of California Baptist. Tip time is 6 p.m.
Michael Potter and Paul Coro have the call live for GCU basketball on 1580 The Fanatic and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Today's Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Let's see here. Fish Take says he had 15 touchdowns and 10 picks, and this guy is an all-star.
Which guy is he talking about?
I don't know. He says, oh, here it is. The Pro Bowl is the worst all-star game. So many declines from star players that Drake May got to go. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
The big problem with the all-star format, and it kind of ranges across both the NBA and NFL, is that it's really a bookkeeping error, where if you are a substitute, if you weren't one of the 3 original people at your position, or if it's wide receivers, one of the top 5, I forget what the number is, but if you're not one of those original selected members, you shouldn't be called an all-star. You should be called a sub, or there should be a replacement or some asterisk in your title of that you got an all-star selection. Because by definition, Tyler Huntley was not an all-star that year. It was only because the team above them made it to the Super Bowl that somebody else had to fill in. And you know, if somebody opts out, if Josh Allen opts out as he has in the past, then I'm sorry, Russell Wilson this past season was not an all-star. He was not selected to be an all-star selection. He just got it because he was the only one who opted in and wants that on his resume. And unfortunately, that's going to boost and pad his resume stats whenever you were going and talking about Hall of Fame contention.
Was he the next best guy up?
No, he was not. He was the next. He was the next best guy who would say yes. That would do it. He was the next
best guy up that would do it. Well, fair enough. Who cares? Who cares? Really?
Well, trust me, as a bitter.
If anybody cared, they would have done. They would have gone. Nobody cares.
So how do you make the Pro Bowl tribal, like a big deal? Kind of like we were talking about the NHL. How does that even work?
I think things have changed so much now. And, the Pro Bowl has always been a dud. When you used to fly guys to Hawaii and they'd go out there and, they'd play it for real because back then in the day when men were men, the football players had a similar mindset of hockey players. Now we're making a business decision and people are not wanting to make a bad business decision by getting injured in a pointless, meaningless game.
And can you blame them, Jeffrey?
So, no, I don't blame them at all.
Yeah, I don't blame
especially
them.
Especially the way the NFL treats their players. So I don't know if you can save the Pro Bowl, and they've done everything and anything they can to try to find ways of making it. I just feel I don't watch. I haven't ever watched any of the nonsense, and I'm glad that they're like, hey, some people are liking the flag football game, and some people are liking the skills competition, but it'll never be like it was because things are different now, and that's all right. We don't have to have a Pro Bowl game. You want to have Pro Bowl skills competition, you want to have Pro Bowl flag football, power to you. I ain't watching. But do whatever you want. Because I don't think you can save it.
I'll even go so far as to say I'd even take because these are extremely talented athletes. I'd watch a dodgeball competition between them. Because really where the
got things to do.
Well, of course, yes, but I think that's far more of a giving thing than watching us have a facade of an all-star game where both teams are not actively going. And to be honest with you, you're absolutely right. It is a business decision. It's something where each game, unfortunately, because of what is so great, and it is the gladiatorial sport of modern day, where each game takes a little something out of you, unless you're the quarterback in theory and you have a good offensive line. Because each game it takes a little bit out of you, you are foolish. You are doing yourself and your fan base that if you are assigned to a team and you are that worthy to be a Pro Bowl player, you are doing a disservice to all those involved. If you go out there and you give it your all and you get hurt, and heaven forbid, if you get hurt for an entire season at a Pro Bowl game, everybody is all here going up against the NFL players saying, why don't you give more? Why don't you do a more entertaining product? You had the whole regular season. You have the rest of the postseason to get that. And you all are being disingenuous if you aren't saying that you wouldn't want your franchise player to not get injured.
You know what the NFL should bring back? At least, I mean, this isn't going to fully help the Pro Bowl, but this will at least.
Sorry, I almost said your mom. I'm sorry. It's just a response thing, and it's just
that was really ingrained in there, Jeff.
I'm trying not to say it to anybody who's on the staff. So, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Well, the NFL should bring back. You remember that competition they had back in the day with Brett Favre, where they had the longest throw competition?
Oh yeah.
They should bring that back. Why don't they bring
Peyton
that back?
Manning and all those guys in a good quarterback skills thing.
Imagine like who could throw, especially now this day, who could throw a football the longest. That would be really interesting. I would watch that.
And you know what shows that people are willing to watch that? The Combine. We don't even know those guys.
Yeah,
and everybody and
people watch the Combine. That's right.
We're shopping for our bad teams.
Yeah, but what do any of us know? I mean, it is just a bunch of guys competing in their underwear, and we're all just saying,
That's right.
You know what?
Well, it's all right because I'm watching in my underwear.
There you go. Yeah, good as you give as you get, I guess. But yes, you're of course window shopping and salivating over. Oh, that lineman. He benched 20 times, and apparently the record was only 18. Whatever. It doesn't mean a thing. But actually, now once you have somebody who you do know, if Josh Allen is in there and all he's got to do is like he does indeed beat out Patrick Mahomes for deepest throw because they're both in the Pro Bowl. I mean, that's worth something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd much rather
imagine Joe Milton in there.
Because they can actively participate in that and not risk injury.
Or Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
That might be a skills competition.
He'd be fun. He'd be a fun time.
Against the Spread says the Pro Bowl officially ended with Sean Taylor destroying that punter.
Yes.
One team was having fun and Sean Taylor didn't appreciate it. That dude had one speed and intensity to play ball. By the way, Sean Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame. Him and Ronnie Lott are the best two safeties I've seen in 40 years watching football. But going back to that against the spread, that was the time where they were more like hockey players still. Sean Taylor is a great example of that.
Sean Taylor on possibly the greatest college football team ever. If you want to go to that whole 2001 Miami.
Jonesy says they already do a dodgeball game. Did you watch it, Phil?
I didn't. I stuck around for the Newlyweds game. Yes.
Yeah. You know, if you happen upon it, you might be like, oh, okay. But outside of that, nobody cares.
That's true.
Big George says, Harris, I hope you're aligned with the show on Jeffrey's thoughts concerning pickleball. Also, bowling is considered a sport. And here's why. Not because Radio Ron said it had to be, but because I say it has to be because Radio Ron is a big time bowler.
Yeah, I think pickleball is a sport. I've heard his thoughts. We disagree.
You are wrong.
We disagree.
And, according to the Daily Blender, you are wrong. The fans
Good man,
of the Daily
Harris.
Blender.
Good
you
man.
are wrong.
Good man there.
Thank you, Phil.
You think whatever you want, but you are wrong. Devil Hawk says Russell Wilson was a Pro Bowl selection this season. He is no All-Star anymore.
Russell Wilson, yeah. And that goes back to Phil's point of what he said of what does it truly mean nowadays to be a Pro Bowl player?
Contract bonuses. Tyrannosaurus text says exactly what I was thinking. I didn't even watch the Pro Bowl game in the 90s, but that longest throw contest and the ones where the football players and baseball players would race each other. Oh, that was great.
So
TV.
cool. So cool.
Those are always fun replays too. Like if ever
Oh,
you
yeah.
fall upon it right now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like prime Drew Brees up against prime Peyton Manning. I don't remember who won. It's all I'll take a gander.
Got to see Brett Favre throw a football 80 yards. Come on now. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Patrick Mahomes Sr. I know you heard he got in a little scuffle with John Rocker, the old racist baseball player.
Yeah.
Well, he had his little scuffle, and we were like, "Oh my God, what's going on there?" And Well, here was the problem because of his little squabble, his little scuffle in public. Patrick Mahomes' senior's parole officer. Remember, he's on parole. He's on probation. I'm sorry, he's on probation. Because he had a third DUI, right? And so his probation officer says, that's a violation to get in a fight like that. It's a violation of your probation. And so he's like, it was staged because it was because they were setting up for some fight. They're going to have a fight. And Patrick Mahomes Sr. was supposed to make $85,000 for the fight, pending pay-per-view numbers or whatever, maybe more. And he was like, no, it was staged. It was all make believe because if it's not, he's going to jail. How dumb is that?
Wow.
Well, I do think it was staged. I mean, there was apparently some sort of pay-per-view thing that they needed that they were thinking that they were going to do. I just don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't care either, but it's just sad. It's just sad. I mean, that is where it's gone for guys are too young to remember that Pat Mahomes Sr. was a hell of a ball player.
He was a pitcher, right?
Yeah, he was a great baseball player.
Yeah.
And, John Rocker, it was just a loudmouth. And no, these guys just, I don't care about them.
Are celebrity boxing matches now like the OnlyFans, but for guys that aren't? Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. Because I will admit, it would take a lot of money, but there is a money I would take to get in the ring with like a lot of people. Like it would take, we're talking like a couple, probably ashamedly, probably 100,000 or so, but it does exist because I know I would lose.
How about Jake Paul? If
that dude is scary.
They come at you and say, here's $500,000.
I probably, again, I mean, if I don't have to be genuine with my effort and my ability,
I could pretend to get knocked out.
Yeah. I mean, I can like,
what about like McGregor, Floyd Mayweather?
Oh yeah. No, that's a much higher.
What about $1 million? What about $1 million? Would you still take that?
It would have to cover like lifetime pain and agony and medical. Yeah. So weirdly enough, it's not $1 million. It's the better a fighter you are, the higher that number is because I risk so much more professional injury onto myself.
You are no fighter, and Jake Paul, even though he's a clown ass and he's not a real boxer, and real boxers would dismantle him in regular guy sort of level. He's a scary mofo. That guy can hurt you.
He's like a tick above.
He's a good fighter.
So I wouldn't mess with it. I'm 54. I ain't fighting nobody. But would I step in the ring for a certain amount of money? Who wouldn't? I mean, okay. There's a lot of. I mean, if you have a lot more money, you don't. But I don't know. It depends on the person. Like I feel like Jake Paul could hurt you, and there's other people that I'm like, they couldn't
easily.
really hurt you.
Yeah.
Depends on the guy. So I'll fight any listener. I don't care.
There's some people that have left the station that Jeffrey would fight for free.
That's not true. I don't care. I don't care enough about them.
That's fair.
Fish Tank says, what are the chances that John Rocker is also on parole or probation?
It's possible.
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Kiss the Cook says, Battle of the NFL All-Stars. How about that? It's already being done. It's called the skills competitions.
Yeah.
Big George says the NFL should bring back the College All-Star Football Classic. It was a preseason American football game played from 1934 to 1976 between the NFL champions and a team of all-star college players, seniors from previous year. That would be entertaining to watch.
You know what they could do?
No, they'd be all killed.
You know what they could do? Here's an idea. I want to know what y'all think about it. You take the best players in the NFL from the Big Ten, from the SEC, from the ACC, and from the group of 5 that went to college. You put them on teams. You do a little tournament. I don't know how that would work, actually. But along that sort, and you let them play.
Is there that much, though, conference loyalty? I know that there's school loyalty.
There is conference loyalty in the SEC. I'll say that much.
I don't care about the Big 12. Didn't care about the Pac-12. No, I mean, I don't.
Just an idea.
It's an idea.
By the way, the SEC is like, we got to change this college football playoff thing.
Yes, them in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have time to talk about all that. We'll get to that in future days. But your idea, Harris? Overruled. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, it's On This Date in Big Georgia sports history and other things. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank. Then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Hungry for something exciting? Then come experience what's new at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse with 2 Valley locations. No one does Asian-inspired cuisine better or more authentic than Kasai, where talented teppanyaki chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, it isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's the perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire with their daily specials. Try their new $12 bar menu items, Wagyu beef and Mongolian pork sliders, chicken or beef satay, and 3 delicious flavors of chicken karaage. 2025 is on fire at Kasai with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road and Thunderbird, and now open in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppen.com. That's KASAI Teppen.com or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
I'm an Arizona truck driver. I deliver food, medicine, supplies, and hope.
And during times of crisis, I support our communities. But every day I see people putting lives and families at risk.
Distracted driving is deadly, period. Be aware, be safe, and visit sharetheroadaz.com and find tips on how to drive safely around trucks.
This message is sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick 6, 3-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. 1, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Your home for sports.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Larry Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Devil Hawk wants to know, does Harris want kids? Does Harris want kids? He says, well, if so, have you been with Bonnie Blue lately? Oh, knock it off, Devil Hawk.
I don't know who
Knock it
that
off.
is.
Yeah, breaking news. She's pregnant
Yeah.
apparently.
So here's the thing. Bonnie Blue is this lady who said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have sex with over 1,000 guys. And somehow she would manage to do that in one day. And then everybody was like, and she was like, well, that might have affected my mental health. I'm like, no kidding. And so, yeah, we all forgot about it. Now she's come out. She's like, I'm pregnant. So there's like 1,078 guys who just like, oh my God. Oh, uh-oh. You know? Yeah, it's kind of a gross story. But Devil Hawk, no, of course he has. You haven't, right?
Haven't?
Do you know Bonnie Blue?
I don't know who Bonnie Blue is.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was an inappropriate question, Devil Hawk. I mean, it's a fair question, but it was an inappropriate question.
Yeah.
I know somewhere along the lines that how dare you?
Yeah.
So Kevin Durant, there was a moment where the Warriors said, "Hey, we want Kevin Durant over here. Let's get Kevin Durant back on the Warriors." And then the word came out that he was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. So everybody thought, oh, he doesn't like somebody over there. He doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want to be seen as the ring chaser. People were actually kind of like, why wouldn't you want to get out of the current issues with the Suns? And so finally somebody asked him, they're like, hey, so what's the story on you not wanting to go over to, play for the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah.
And he says, well, one guy was like, having some ideas, but then Kevin Durant says, no. The reason why I didn't want to come back, I just didn't want to get traded midway through the season. Nothing against my time with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Or I heard because I don't like Draymond Green. He said that wasn't it. He said, I just didn't want to move. And I wanted to see it through with my team in Phoenix, see what could, happen from the rest of the season. And I'm glad I'm still here.
Yeah, it's an understandable perspective. I mean, getting traded mid-season's hard. You got to move. You got to find a new place. You got to do all this stuff. It's hard. I get it. Phoenix is good weather. Good weather.
Well, how long you been here?
I've been here a good amount. I know the summers are rough.
It's starting next week, summer, by the way.
You mean spring?
Randy, no, there's no such thing as spring here. You know that. It goes from a couple of weeks of spring-like weather to straight to summer. And so here's the forecast. I mean, Randy usually does the forecast.
Okay.
But like today, 76 degrees. Tomorrow, 77. All the way through Saturday, 77. Then it'll be 81. Then it'll be 83. Then it'll be 85. It's not great weather for February. We were supposed to get longer periods of cool weather. And as you see the temperature start to go up, it doesn't come back down. It goes back up. It starts to go up and stays up, man. Global warming was the real thing. And we are living in it, and it's starting to get hotter and hotter and hotter. So, I'm not happy about this. Not happy at all. I mean, it's great weather for a guy who hasn't lived here his entire life, but then it ain't great weather in a couple of weeks.
Where else have you lived, Jeffrey?
Well, I've been here since I was a teenager, but I've also lived in Oregon. I just never managed to acclimate to this because heat sucks.
You like this weather better or Oregon weather better?
Oregon, any day.
Really? Why is that?
300 days of cloudy skies, but everything's green and you can go outside and you can play.
Yeah.
And then when it rains, it's not like all day rain. There's a little rain here, a little rain there. The weather there is just gorgeous.
I actually prefer, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I actually prefer a good overcast. I love rain. Love rain.
Yeah.
It's a great,
does.
Love rain. There are a lot of people who disagree with me on that.
Sure,
I think it's awesome. I think it's great.
It's
peaceful
to everybody's
sleep with
taste, I mean, you can nap. You can nap when it's raining.
Oh, yeah. Great. That's a 10 out of 10 nap. 100%.
But, there's also something to be said when you think about Arizona, and that is natural disasters. Don't really happen here.
Yeah.
All the things that happen other places, no earthquakes, mudslides.
You can play golf 24/7.
Well,
after that.
Okay. Not when it's 100 million degrees out.
You're
golfing in that, you deserve your heat stroke.
You can't play golf in the snow. I'll say that. You can
Could. There's some guys in Minnesota who'll play it across the giant lake. They'll hit a ball like 8
Those
miles.
roughs will be treacherous.
No, it's fun. Listen, the weather here, it might get hot as long as you have air conditioned car, air conditioned work, air conditioned house. You can survive it as long as you got the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah.
But it ain't great. It ain't great when it's summer here. Ugh. But some people love it.
Hard. Summer's hard. I'll give you that. I will
Big
say.
George says, I agree with Jeffrey. I prefer the weather of the Pacific Northwest, Arizona. Give me a cloudy, overcast, misty sky with a high in the 50s any day.
I think Washington's the best weather. The Evergreen State. I think it is. It's a beautiful state. It's awesome weather. Yeah.
Problem up there is all
Beautiful
the damn
nature.
hippies. Oh, it's wall-to-wall hippies.
All the hippies? You don't like the hippies?
I can only take so much patchouli oil.
I love me some free love. Hey, yeah, let's.
Everybody
scoot
loves some free love. I
Yeah.
ain't saying anything
One with the
wrong.
waves.
But it's just sometimes, it's like maybe a shower. Moist One says, talk about a curtain of distraction. Have you guys seen okay, I'm stopping there.
There we go. There we go. We hit our quota.
Yeah, that text really did connect to what we started this segment with. Kiss the Cook says NFL, MXC, or Wipeout would be hilarious. A battle of the NFL.
Wipeout.
All-Stars.
That was.
You get too
That's
many
nostalgic.
players injured doing that.
Yeah, that is injury and waiting to happen.
Already too much of injury controversies in the NFL, too.
Hey, you want to hear the worst idea ever?
Yes.
Shay Gilligan Alexander, he has decided as he gets ready to try to work on that Supermax deal to fire his agent and represent himself.
Baller move.
It's the
Baller
worst
move.
idea ever.
Oh, you think so, Jeffrey?
Why do you think that? Why do you think
That's
that?
you can't he's not. You don't go in without your lawyer. You don't go in without your agent. Don't do that.
I would
mean,
say-
we have seen guys get completely hosed when they don't bring their agent.
We've seen people get hosed with agents, too.
Tim Duncan,
Kevin Garnett, yeah. Tim Duncan.
Less
Tim Duncan, yeah.
likely.
Adrian
with an
Peterson.
agent.
You seen that?
You want to drop your agent for another agent? Like, hey, I don't trust this guy. I'm going to go with this guy. Okay, yeah. I'm going to drop this agent. Then I'm going to go take on the team and their lawyers and agents all by myself. Hey, man, I don't know. Shea Gilligan Alexander is the smartest guy in the room. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But this is just a bad idea, and you're going to get less money.
Shaq was notorious for having a guy watch his guy who's doing the things
Yeah,
of the
have
finance.
a guy watch the guy.
Yeah, a
That's
guy to watch
wild.
the guy. Yeah, so
But
he's
low key smart.
yes,
Okay,
very
smart.
smart. However, in this case, Jeffrey, I do think it makes sense because look, it's kind of like to a lesser extent the Lamar Jackson case, where really when especially in the NBA where it's slotted and
His
everything.
mama did it. He did. You don't say no to mama.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't say no to mom. But when you are slotted in the NBA like you are, and there's salary cap, and it is slotted on the maximum that you can make, it is the rookie max. Like there's a reason. I think I can agree with Shea in that they're not going to pay him the max.
Yeah.
Really,
Shy or is it Shea?
His players
Shea.
Shea.
Shea. But but the most that he would be negotiating for is a no trade contract clause. Excuse me. Other than that, he is going to demand the max. He will be given the max, and so therefore, why am I paying an agent even 5% if it's a foregone conclusion?
Because they sneak things into the contracts, Phil.
But can't you slip that into ChatGPT and say, hey, is there something in here that
lawyers.com?
Yeah, Rocket.
Slip that.
Yeah,
thing in
Rocket
there?
Mortgage. Yeah, I mean, I can understand where it's like, why am I paying 5% when I can pay even the best lawyer just $1,000? Hey, just really quickly go over this. I'll have you on a retainer.
So
of
you
me.
think because this is not complicated, he'll be fine?
If he was somebody of a lesser, like Tyus Jones, we just talked about Tyus Jones, where you are fighting for every single dollar, you need a case made on your behalf. It makes sense to have an agent. You want
Sure.
somebody to represent you well.
Sure.
When you're Shea and it's a foregone conclusion what's going to happen. Even Luka. I mean, Luka lost a lot of money, but that was through no part his agent. He was just moved, and so therefore the rules dictated that he gets a lesser amount. But Luka, guaranteed in Los Angeles, will be given the max eligible to him.
Tyrannosaurus Tech says, to be fair, If it's we got to teach Harris how to be fair.
Yeah,
We'll do
so-
that later. If it's a Supermax deal and you're getting the most money they can offer, why do you need an agent? I'm telling you, man, it's about the fine print. Berg says, gonna bring the skipper with him for negotiations. Well, Shai Gilligan Alexander probably should. The professor would probably be a better idea. Devilhawk says, I hear Delta's offering a $30 gift card and an extra bag of pretzels to all the passengers who were on that airplane that flipped over in Canada. Well, that's a good resolution. I mean, listen, nobody died. So Against the Spread says summertime is the best time for golfing in the Valley. No snowbirds, fast pace, no tourists, no fake golfers, best courses to play, 75% off. You are out of your mind if you're golfing in 115-degree weather.
Some people were born for it, Jeffrey.
Some people love it.
I hike in the summer.
Golf can be a highly addictive game.
They were able to get into Bobby Hull's brain and find out he had CTE. I want Against the Spread. If you're actually golfing in the summer, I want you to donate your brain when you die, because I've got a theory. I'm just saying. All right, let's get this going. It's time now.
I'll join you Against the Spread. I'll join you.
Yeah,
You're
don't
golfing in
interrupt
the
me.
summer.
But I'm trying to and trying to do a thing. What are you doing? I'm talking here. What are you interrupting me for? Like, okay, I was about to do a thing. Don't you know the thing I'm about to do? Phil's going to help you with the thing I'm about to do. It's time. When you hear me start to say it's time now, then that's you don't talk. He's like, it's time now for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Well, the music could be louder. Back in the year 1912, Cracker Jacks, a sugar-coated popcorn with a mixture of peanuts, confection, immortalized in the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," introduces a prize in every box. In 1914, the manufacturer would begin inserting the first 2 company-produced baseball cards featuring Major League players. Back to me, Jeffrey. Yeah, have you ever had Cracker Jacks?
I've had it I think I can count on one hand the amount of time I've had Cracker Jacks. It is
They're
memorable.
underrated.
The prizes, are they any good? Because I looked.
It's still a sticker.
I feel like it's a thing where you download an app now. I mean, that's what the prizes have become. I'm not even kidding.
That is hilarious.
Nothing better than getting Cracker Jacks at a baseball game. Just saying.
Is it if it's
catching a foul ball? I think would beat that, Harris.
If what you get in a fortune cookie is
catching
a fortune.
a home run would beat that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get a fortune cookie, if you get a fortune cookie and it gives you a fortune, if you find like a link inside of a Cracker Jack box, is it a fortune crack?
All I know is I got a fortune cookie once and there's no fortune inside. And I thought I was going to die. I felt for sure.
There's no future for you, sir.
That was like a Final Destination movie.
Uncertainty.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Big George says Harris will learn. Yeah. Well, I know. I'm going to give him a hard time here and there. Yeah. Music, not as loud as it ended up being, but not as quiet as it was there. Just somewhere in the middle. You'll get it. Just like kind of like the bumper music thing there. This is the time of the show where I'll start saying, all right, it's time. And then, that you got to let me have my thing here. Or else Big George, who I remind you is 7 feet tall, will come into the studio and wreak havoc.
Oh, man.
It's like Andre the Giant.
7 feet tall, man.
Be like Reptar in here.
Against the Spread says, thanks for the medical advice, Jeffrey, and thanks to those guys with you. They sound like real golfers. I don't think either of them golf. Do you golf, Harris?
I go in phases.
I saw you wearing your waste management jacket the other day.
Yeah, I like golf. But I'm not like 100% dedicated, but I'll play it. A lot of my friends played golf. My dad played college golf at Ole Miss. So.
Many. How about you, Phil? You golf?
I do not.
Yeah. Against the Spread. Be a real golfer. Get yourself some heat stroke. Love you. We got to go. Everybody, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Are you a chronic interrupter? Incapable of letting other people talk? Do those people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should go to Mattress Firm. They have a 120-night sleep trial, so you can get your money back if a bed's